Hey, welcome. My name is Lane Sebring, and you are on the Build Your Online Business in 60 Days live event. We're going to be on for 3 hours. If you are watching this after the fact, you might want to skip ahead about 15 minutes. That's where things are going to begin. It's a little before our scheduled time, but I wanted to hop on. And as people are hopping on, I'll just be interacting with you here in the chats. So when you jump on, let me know where you are watching from and what you're hoping to get out of this. So again, if you're watching this later, skip ahead 15, 20 minutes and you'll be right where you need to be. And for now, I am going to wait and hang out and see who hops on. And just to make things even more fun, I'll turn some music on so that it's not so awkward between us. Okay. And I'll be drinking my coffee. If you're just jumping on, welcome. We are going to begin in just a few minutes. For now, go ahead and let me know in the comments where you are watching from and what you're hoping to get out of this. We're going to be talking about how to build your online business in 60 days. It's going to be great. I'm just chilling with my golden retriever, Hendrix, who's chewing up a shoe, and he's chilling. Welcome. Again, if you're watching this later, skip ahead about 15, 20 minutes, and you will be right where you need to be. So pumped for today's live event. We're going to hit it pretty hard. It's going to be great. And we're going to get started in just a few minutes. So welcome. Zan the man, let's go. Let's go. I love it. Lithuania. Wow, welcome. Great to have you. That's awesome. Welcome on here. Yeah, let me know what you are hoping to get out of this, whether you're just getting started in your online business and you're really fired up about what you could accomplish in 60 days. And also, if you already have an online business and you're fired up about that, what are you hoping to just get out of this in general? If it can help in some way, I'd love to hear. Let me know. Exciting stuff. If you're just jumping on, we are going to get started right at 10 o'clock. So welcome. Let us know in the comments where you are from, where you're watching from, and what you're hoping to get out of this today. I'd love to hear. We've got a lot planned. We're going to be live for 3 hours. I'm just chilling with my dog, Hendrix. Hey, Hendrix, say hey. He's chewing on a shoe. He's kind of tied up at the moment, but yeah, let us know in the chat what's up. We got someone from Lithuania. We got Zan the Man joining us. I love that name, Zan the Man. Awesome. And again, if you're watching this after the fact, the posting, just skip ahead and you'll know exactly where to go and what to do. Skip ahead about 20 minutes. Tam from Tampa, Florida. Love Tampa. That's awesome. Welcome. Welcome. So glad to have you on. Man, my dog is really getting after that shoe. He's just tearing it up. I don't know if you can see him. Let me take this off. There. See? He's right there. Chewing up a shoe. But awesome stuff. Let's see who's in the comments. 3 hours, amazing. Thanks for doing this, Lane. So generous of you, especially on 2/22/22. Yes, today. Thank you for that. Today is a great day. By the way, how do I sound? Does the audio sound good? Is everything coming through like it should? Do I sound nice and crisp? Is there anything I should fix or change? I just want to make sure this is the best experience ever for you. So if anything doesn't sound right, I'm counting on you guys to let me know, set me straight. I should have pretty good sound coming out of my SM7 beat, but I always want to make sure, We got more people jumping on. I'm going to go post one more time to social. Get that going. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good day. Thanks, Zan. Good. Sounds great and looks great. Awesome. Good deal. Awesome. So we got Lithuania, we got Tampa. Zan is in Nevada. Is that right? Did I remember that right? Please forgive me if I got that wrong. Emily, thank you for being here. Very excited. Very excited. If you don't mind sharing, where are you watching from and what do you hope to get out of this? That would be awesome to know. Awesome. Yeah, Las Vegas, Nevada. Perfect. And by the way, I hope I pronounced your name right. It might be Emil Van Den Berg. Anyway, I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that. But thank you for being on here. Thanks for saying thanks. We're just a big happy family here. Got people from all over. Nevada, Lithuania, Tampa. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee. And we're going to get going here in about 5 minutes. I just want to wait until 10 before we jump into the content for today. And I've got two really exciting things to share with you, which I'll share right up front. I'm not going to hold it from you. I'm going to share right up front with you. And I have nothing to sell you. So this is just content. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to give you some really great free content and help you in your online business. That's what I'm trying to do today. So cheers. I've got my coffee. Got my coffee in this thing. I've got my water in this thing. Belgium. Yes, love it. Okay, cool, Emil. Very good. I just read your name too fast, and sorry about that. But that's awesome. So we got people from Belgium. We got people from Nevada. We got people from Lithuania, from Florida, from Tennessee. This is going to be a good day. This is going to be a really good day. By the way, can you hear the little beats coming through? I got this little beats coming through on the live stream here, and it's really cool. I just don't know. Like this is lo-fi. Let's switch to dance pop. You guys want to hear dance pop? So we can you can find me in the club, as it were. How many of you like that Super Bowl halftime show? That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Lots of fun things happening there on the at the Super Bowl. Man, my dog is really getting after that shoe. Um, if while we're waiting on people to jump on here, if you want to see, okay, good tunes. If you want to see the dog up close, let me know. Just hit me up in the chat, and I'll have him come over here, and he can say hi before we get started. Again, if you're watching this later, we're going to start in about 3 minutes, and if you're watching this live, we're going to start in about 3 minutes. So, hang in there with me, and we'll be getting started very quick. It's going to be the best. All right, I'm going to switch back to the other tunes. I kind of like them better. Let me see here. Brand. I like the lo-fi. I think it just has a nice, relaxed vibe to it. Like we're going to have a good time. We're going to chill. Nobody's in a rush. We're going to be chatting for a while today. Everything's going to be fine. Come here, Hindi. Come here. Right here. Come on. Here's Hendrix. I mean, that's a good looking dog, isn't it? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that face. I mean, my goodness. That is he's a good boy. Who's a good boy? Are you a good boy? All right, we're gonna get started. So you're gonna just go back to chewing your shoes, okay? All right, good deal. That was Hendrix. Thanks for saying hi to Hendrix, everybody. He's a good little dude, good little boy. All right, we got 5 people on. This is exciting. Hopefully, we'll have a lot more jump on at 10. We'll have more watch after the fact. If you just jumped on, let us know where you are watching from, what you're hoping to get out of this. We're going to be live for 3 hours. So there's going to be people, hey, Zan the Man, hey, Hendrix. There's going to be people jumping on and off as we go, which is totally fine. But let me know where you are calling from and what is happening, what your goals are. It's going to be great. I also have some nutrition, a Laura bar. A lemon Laura bar. It's good, and some beef jerky. So I'll be ready to go. I won't be hungry. So we'll be good to go for 3 hours. It's gonna be great. And I have a special guest hopping on at about noon. In about 2 hours, I'll have a guest with me. Surprise guest. Can't tell you who it is yet, but very excited to have that person with me. It'll be great. Yeah, it'll be awesome. All right, it is 10 o'clock, so I'm going to turn off the music here, and we're going to get going. That's going to be great. All right. Make sure everything is all set. Hopefully people will continue. There will be a replay. Yes, there will be a replay. It will just post to the YouTube channel, and you can watch it at your leisure. So if you're watching after the fact, then you can do that. Or if you're watching live and you can't watch the whole thing, you can tune in later on. Good question. All right, we are live. Welcome to 60 Days, the How to Build Your Online Business in 60 Days live event. We're going to be going for 3 hours today. I've got a lot to cover. So I want to go over a couple of things before we get started, and then we're going to jump right into it. First, I don't have anything to sell you. So if you're expecting for there to be a pitch or an offer at the end of this, I don't have a course to sell you. I don't have anything like that. So one day I will, but I'm just saying right now, like that's not what this is about. This is about serving you. But I do have something to tell you about, which is a pretty cool thing. And that is that right now, Kajabi is offering a 60-day free trial, but it's only available today. And you can get it through my link, lanesebring.com/Kajabi. So you can try it for 60 days for free. That's all I'm going to be promoting today in terms of helping you to take this to the next level. 60-day free trial, pretty cool. With that, with my link, you get a 45-minute one-on-one Zoom call with me where we can talk about your business, talk about Kajabi, talk about how to get the best possible start on that platform. You're also going to get my $25,000 course launch email template, which are the exact emails and email strategy that I used to launch my first course, which made over $25,000 in the first 3 launches, which isn't a ton, but I'm going to show you exactly how to do at least that. And then you can take it and grow it from there. But that's the cool thing. 60 days free today if you do today. But for anyone who jumps on to Kajabi using my link, or anyone who has used Kajabi on my link, I am rolling out a brand new course on Kajabi called Kajabi Accelerator, which is free when you use my link. And it's free if you've ever used my link. So if you're a current Kajabi user with my link, you can just email me, lane@preachingdonkey.com or lane@lanesebring.com, and say, hey, I used your link and I'm on Kajabi. I'd like the course, and I'll give it to you. And if you jump onto my course, you'll get the course for free, Kajabi Accelerator. So I've been working on it for a while. I'm very excited about it. So again, nothing to sell, just free offers today. lanesebring.com/Kajabi is where you can get started on Kajabi, 60 days for free. And if you, and with that, you'll get the Kajabi Accelerator course. Very, very excited. And if there's any questions, just let me know in the comments. We got Bridget from Minneapolis. Very exciting. And all right, so welcome, Bridget. We're gonna jump right in. So today's topic is building your online business in 60 days. What does it take if you had 60 days? And the reason why I chose 60 days kind of goes along with the Kajabi 60-day offer, that if you jumped onto Kajabi right now using my link and you got 2 months of Kajabi for free, what could you do in that 2 months? Like, could you have a profitable online business that was making money in those 2 weeks to make that worth it, to make it so that by the time those 2 months are over, would you have a business that is making money and doing well? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you in this exactly how to do it. Emil says, I already have Kajabi, but only found out about you a few days ago. Very cool. And you know what? Just to say thanks for being on here, I'm going to give you the course. If you just ask for it, just email me and I'll give it to you. So let's jump into this. So the first thing we're going to cover, there's 5 steps that we're going to cover today when it comes to building your online business in 60 days. And this is what it's going to look like. The first thing we're going to cover is cutting out the clutter. You have to cut out the clutter of all of the confusion that surrounds online business. And when I say that, what I mean is there's so many people telling you so many different things that you can do to make money online. And really what that comes down to is just what I call chasing dollars. How do you chase dollars is what people basically say. You could do this, you could do that. We'll get into that. But what I have found in my experience is that the quicker and the sooner I can cut out the clutter and begin to make a plan that actually is going to work for me, the better. I spent probably 4 or 5 years with tons and tons and tons of clutter. So we'll get into that a little bit later. That's the first step. The second step that we're going to cover today is going to be determining your niche. Now, if you already have a niche, or in other words, a topic that your business is going to cover, that you're going to do in your online business, the thing that you're going to teach about, the thing that you're going to create online courses about, if you already have a niche, that's awesome. You can build specificity around your target audience or your target avatar, your ideal customer avatar. And we're going to talk about that today. Like, just because you have a niche doesn't mean that you know who you're going after. You have to determine that as well. So that's the second thing we're going to cover. The third thing is going to be master the plan. All right, master the plan. There is a very specific way that is a predictable, way that you can build an online business in 60 days. And this is the way that your business will run virtually forever. And you have to know the plan and you have to execute on the plan. And so in this 3 hour live event, I'm going to be walking through what that plan looks like and how you, as an online business owner, can learn the plan and master the plan. Does this sound good so far? Let me know in the comments. We got 2 more we're going to look over today, and then we'll go through all of it. Let me let me look at, somebody said, I signed up for Kajabi's Idea and Income Challenge and never and I'm near the end of my free trial. Awesome. Yeah, great. Good. So yeah, this will apply to you no matter where you are on Kajabi or really any other thing that you're trying to use. Um, this will be good for you. Let me go back to this. So we cut out the clutter. We're going to determine the niche. We're going to master the plan, and then we're going to build our first course. Okay. So in today's event, we're going to get to walk through what it takes to build your first online course, whether it's a mini course or a flagship course. We'll get into all that. What's the planning and prep that you need to do? When will you know that you're ready? When will you know that your audience is ready? All of that we're going to cover in that step. And then finally, we're going to launch our first course. And this is where all of this hard work starts to pay off because we can finally actually start making some money. Now, there's some other ways along the way that we can make money, not just with our first course, but this is the first time that the money becomes passive or scalable beyond us just trading time for money. So those 5 things are what we're going to cover in the next 3 hours. If you're excited about that, if that sounds good to you, let me know in the comments. And if it doesn't, then I can change it. Well, actually, I'm not going to change it because I've already got a plan, and we're going to stick with it. All right. So let's start on the first. The first thing that I want to talk about is cutting out the clutter. What kind of clutter have you found in this world of online business? And by the way, we're going to be very interactive today. So if you're on and you're participating, just be in the comments because I'm going to be reading those and responding to them as we go through this. And if you have questions along the way, please ask. This is an interactive live event. I want this to be as valuable to you as possible. So I'm not just going to teach for 3 straight hours. I really want to interact with you. So when it comes to clutter in your online business, the way this looked for me was I basically tried and was willing to try anything I could for about the last 7 years. I started my first online business with a simple blog back in 2014. So it's been 8 years ago. It'll be 8 years in July. And I didn't know that I was starting an online business. I was just starting a blog and I was writing about something that I was passionate about. I was a pastor at the time. I did a lot of preaching and I had majored in college in communication, where you learn how to connect and communicate with people. Then I went to seminary, which is like a master's program for pastors, and I learned how to bore everyone with the Bible. And so I really had a hard time with the way we were taught to preach in seminary. It was very stilted, it was very technical, and it really wasn't utilizing the communication principles that I thought were really effective that I'd learned. So I decided, why don't I just start writing about what I'm learning in my journey? So I started a little website called Preaching Donkey. Well, what happened was people started to be interested in it. They started to really like it. It started to get shared and syndicated on different larger websites. So I went to the next step and I said, okay, I'll start a podcast. And I did a podcast and actually still have that podcast. I've re-upped it a few times, but it's the same podcast that's basically always been. And then people started to really like that. And so I wrote a book. And then I wrote a second book. And about that time was when I really started to realize, oh, this is more than just a hobby. This is actually something that if I wanted it to, it could make me some money. I had no idea how much money, but I thought, wow, if I could make an extra 1,000 or 2,000 a month doing this, wouldn't that be nice? And so I started to really jump into the world of online business and really research, okay, what does all this take? And what I found is that there's no shortage of people that want to teach you how to do online business. The problem that I ran into was clutter and complexity. There was way too much being taught that taught two very different things or 10 very different things, right? So some people would say you need to just focus on selling affiliate products for other companies, and just get something that's a high ticket affiliate product and connect it to somebody who wants it and make a commission and move on. Or you need to do drop shipping on Shopify, or you need to sell fulfilled by Amazon products and just white label a product and source it from China and get it to Amazon and sell like that. And I really got to the point where I was actually pretty interested in and willing to try just about anything that I thought would either grow the business I currently had or create a business that would sustain me so that I could make the kind of money that would allow me to not have to have a job if I didn't want to have a job, and would allow me the freedom in life that I want. Because for me, freedom really is the most important thing. Like if I can be home hanging out with my dog Hendrix, my wife, and my kids, and not have to be anywhere and not have to do anything that I don't want to do, to me, that's the kind of life that I want. And that's what I've achieved, fortunately, thank the Lord. But it's taken a while. And to get there, I had to cut through the clutter. This was kind of the clutter that was surrounding me, that I had a bunch of different things that I had set up: the blog, the podcast, the YouTube channel, the books. Eventually, I'd start working on my first course. And what I found is that in the midst of all that, I also had all these other competing messages of try Shopify, try fulfilled by Amazon, try making t-shirts, the merch by Amazon, just sell t-shirts. And I really truly was willing to try just about anything. One of the things that I feel like is a strength of mine, it can also probably be a somewhat of a weakness because you lose focus, but I one strength that I have is I will take action. I'll do the work. If there's something to be done that could produce results, I'll do it. The problem is it doesn't always work, and sometimes I'm doing too much. There's too much clutter. So I don't know what the clutter is for you in your online business, but you have to identify what that is. And I have some ways of kind of walking through what that clutter might be. Zan says clutter for me was following and listening to too many so-called experts and gurus. Absolutely. Yeah. I at one point, and by the way, I am all about find an expert that's done it before. Find someone who you resonate with and who you feel like, man, I relate to this person. I could do what they do. I feel like I trust them, and follow what that person teaches. That's totally fine. I hope I can be that for some people. I hope I can be that for you. The problem comes when you don't have a good filter, and I didn't have a good filter at first for who actually was giving really good information and who was just trying to themselves make a buck. They weren't really trying to help anybody. They were just trying to make a quick dollar and move on. So that's the kind of clutter that I had to cut out. And what I found is that when I really honed in on a plan that truly worked for me, that was simple, that I could understand, things got much better. So I had to kind of sift through the confusion and the bad information. The other thing I had to sift through was just the many, many time wasters when it comes to online business. The things that you can do. There's a temptation in online business to do all the things. Has anyone ever heard that phrase, like doing all the things? Like that person is doing all the things. The problem with doing all the things, meaning they're always on social, they're always on Instagram, they're always posting to TikTok, they're always on Facebook, they're going live on YouTube every day. They're always just everywhere. And there's a massive movement of people that are there's a temptation to do that, to just rise and grind, to do all the things. The problem with doing all the things is that very few of the things actually result in money in your pocket and a growing business. There's a lot of things that you can do, and you can do all the time, and you can wear yourself out doing them, that don't actually get you results. And those are time wasters. And so we have to kind of make this distinction between chasing dollars and building a business. For me, I think the distinction was when I first started, I wasn't really thinking I'm building an online business. What I was thinking was, I just want to make money online. And there was a shift that took place where I said, no, I don't want to make money online. I mean, I do, but more than that, I want to actually have a business that's fulfilling, that helps people, that changes lives, that gets results for people. And as a result of that, I get money in my pocket, which is money is just it's just a tool. It's a choice multiplier. The more money you have, the more choices you have in life. So it's not wrong to want to make money, but if that's the only determining factor of what you're going to do, you're going to find yourself going down these roads where you're only chasing dollars. You're not actually building a business. What I want to help you do is build an actual business that you can be proud of, that is helping people and that's making a difference. Bridget says, for me, the overwhelm comes from having to do everything alone. Mhm. Build an audience, write an email sequence, write sales copy, build a course, social media. Yeah. Yeah, that's where tools like Kajabi come in handy, because if you are doing everything by yourself, which by the way, that's how everybody starts, um a tool like Kajabi helps to make it not so daunting, because everything that you're talking about, writing the email sequences, sales copy, building the course, those things are streamlined all in one platform, which makes it easy, but it makes it simple. Let me make this distinction. It makes it simple, but it's not easy. The work we do in online business is actually hard work, in the sense that if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? It's one of those things where it does take a ton of determination and effort and setting aside the time, but it is simple. And with tools like Kajabi, you can get these things done. And the cool thing is, a lot of those things, email sequences, sales copy, courses, those are three things that once you set them up, you're really only making tweaks from then on. And you can go back to making your content, doing social media, things like that. But this type of business is very front loaded, where you're doing a lot up front, and on the back end is where it becomes a little bit more challenging um, to to do by yourself. Chasing dollars versus building a business. To me, this was the biggest This was the biggest distinction to cut out the clutter. So the first thing I want you to think about, and I don't want to spend as much time on cutting out the clutter as these other four things, because the other things are probably like that's where the meat of this is. But I think for now, cutting out the clutter might look like deciding that you're going to follow a plan. Like what I'm going to lay out for you today is a very proven, simple process that I've discovered because I've seen other people do it. I've tweaked it. I've done it myself twice now with two different businesses, and it works. So maybe cutting out the clutter is going to look like, you know what? I'm going to choose to just put, and this is what I did. I can speak from experience. I said, okay, I'm going to do this plan, and I'm just going to trust the process, and I'm going to do it. And if it works, then I'll double down and continue to do it. If it doesn't work, I'll just try something else. But I trusted the process and I went after it. And so my encouragement to you would be that if you're watching this, to cut out the clutter and say, what it's going to look like for me right now to cut out the clutter is to say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it work at basically all cost. And if you have that kind of determination, then you can get something done. All right, so we're going to move on to number 2, which is to determine your niche. Determine your niche. So, when it comes to online business, there's a phrase, there's a saying that the riches are in the niches. This is the idea that the more specified you can be, the more specific you can be with your online business and with the content, the topic of your online business, what your courses are about, what your content's about, what you post about on social media, what you're actually helping people to do. The more focused that is, the more potential there is to build a larger audience and at the end of the day, more potential to grow a larger business and make more income. The reason for that is because when people find you and when people find your business, they need to be able to know very quickly what the value proposition is with you. Like, why you? Why follow you? Why watch your content? Why subscribe to your email list? Why buy your course? And if your content is for everyone, then it's really for nobody, because when any one person, any individual with a specific problem, they've got a specific question, and they land on your content, they find your YouTube video, they land on your podcast, and they listen to an episode. If they can't figure out very quickly the thing that you do that is going to offer them value and it's specific, then it makes it very difficult for them to know whether or not you're the person. Now, if you are narrow and your niche is very specific, the temptation for you is to think, "Oh, I'm limiting my reach, I'm limiting my audience." But that is so far from the case. It's just not true, because the right people will find you and they will know immediately, "Oh my gosh, this is what I've been looking for. This is the kind of thing that I need." Let me give you an example from one of my businesses, Preaching Donkey. I've talked about this before on this channel, but I have my website, Preaching Donkey, and I do communications coaching for pastors. Well, there's a very specific thing that I'm doing. I'm not talking to every church. I'm not talking to every church leader. I'm not talking to every pastor, because not every pastor preaches. I'm talking to pastors who preach, but not just pastors who preach. I'm talking to the ones who want to communicate better and who are open to coaching and who are open to coaching from me, right? There's a very specific set of things that I'm going for. And then even the type of content I'm doing doesn't appeal to everybody, because not everybody thinks it's important to focus on communication. Some people think it's all about just the content that you're actually preaching. And I say it's both. So I'm narrowing and narrowing and narrowing, but it has never limited my reach. I reach the right people, and I have very enthusiastic followers and have for years, and have a sustainable business over at Preaching Donkey because my focus is targeted. So when you're determining your niche, don't ever be afraid to get specific on who it is you're trying to reach and why you're trying to reach them. So, I want to give you some specific ways that you can begin to narrow down your niche. Okay. So, the first thing you have to understand is that there's a topic that you love to talk about. It's also what people already come to you to ask for advice about. Right. So, what is that topic? So, I'm talking to some of you who are like just getting started. Some of you already have a niche, and that's awesome. But for those of you who are just getting started with this and you're trying to figure out I want an online business, I love the idea, but what should I talk about? Or maybe you have an online business and you want to start a second one and you're trying to figure out, what do I talk about? You have to nail down what is that topic that you love to talk about. Now, you'll be sharing about this topic a lot through blog posts, through podcasts, through YouTube videos, through TikTok videos, social media posts. You'll build your online course around this topic. You might even coach clients one-on-one about it. So it needs to be something you love talking about. This is one of the things that I talk to people all the time when I'm talking to someone about starting an online business. If they're just even a little bit hesitant about, I don't know if I could talk about this very much, I really, really stress. I say, you got to understand, this is something that you have to really enjoy talking about. That's why I chose online business as one of my businesses, because I just found myself talking about this all the time. I love talking about it, and it's not hard for me to talk about. I really enjoy it. So this is something that I love enough where I can talk about it. And you just have to have that same kind of passion and love for a topic. So here's some questions that can help you determine what niche is right for you. The first one is, what particular hobby or interest is unique to you? Is there something that you do or that you know about or that you're interested in that not everybody's interested in, or not everybody that you know? That's the thing that we have to understand. With the internet, the beauty of living in this day and age is that no one you personally know might not care anything about your niche or your topic or your target. But there's a whole world out there that does. So what do you know? What is unique to you? What topic could you talk about for hours? I mentioned this. I love talking about coaching and or preaching and communication with pastors. Could talk about that for hours. Starting online businesses and growing an online business around your passion and expertise. Could talk about that for hours. So what is that for you? In fact, if you're on right now, let me know in the comments, what is your niche? And if you haven't determined a niche, just answer that question. What is a topic that you could talk about for hours? And if you're watching this after the fact, just put it in the comments. I could talk about XYZ for hours. I would love to know. What do people come to you about for advice? So when you think about your friendships, the people who know you, the people who, if you have an audience yet, what are they coming to? If you don't have an audience yet, what are just the people in your life? What do they come to you and say, oh, you're the guy who, you're the girl who does whatever, answers whatever, works with people for whatever, you get results in this area. I'll give you an example from my wife. So we have 4 kids. We have 4 kids that are 7, 5, 4, and 2. All right, their ages just keep changing all the time, so it's hard to remember. If you have kids, you know. But we have 3 or 4 little girls, and my wife from day one was very, very specific and intentional about making sure that we got really good sleep. Like we wanted to get sleep. We wanted the kids to get good sleep. And so it was something that she just worked really hard on, learned a lot about it. And people started asking her, hey, how is your 2-month-old sleeping through the night? How is your 4-year-old not always trying to get to sleep in your bed? How did you get them to stop wetting the bed? How did you get them to stop waking up at night? So she was asked about this so much that, and not only that, she was asked about all the different kind of productivity hacks that she was doing as a mom to make it a little bit easier on her, better for the kids. And so she started a Instagram account and a little bit of content called Thriving with Littles. And there's no courses yet for that. That's not really her goal at this point. She just wanted to be helpful, but it was a topic that she found herself talking about a lot, and people came to her for advice. So she said, why don't I just put this in a centralized location? And I think one day that has the potential to grow very large if she wants to do that. So what do people come to you for advice about? Tamara said marketing and design. Excellent. Excellent. Brian Fleming. Good to see you, Brian. He says helping new small business owners know how to say what they do from a position of compelling value so they can get noticed and their businesses will grow. Excellent. So I love the specificity of this. So it's new. We're going to camp out here on Brian's target niche, his topic. So new small business owners. So it's not just any business owner. It's people who are new at it. It's not big business, but it's small business. And it's not just people who work in small businesses. It's people who own them, right? New small business owners. That's so good. And then how to say what they do from a position of compelling value. So he's not just helping them know what they do or helping them think about what they do, but how do they talk about it, right? So new small business owners, how they talk about what they do, and not just how they talk about it, but how does it have a compelling value so that they can get noticed and their businesses will grow. Very well thought out. So every time Brian sits down to make content, you got to know he's thinking through the lens of how can I communicate this in such a way that it will reach? How can this piece of content, how can this course reach that new small business owner and who needs to know what to say from a position of compelling value so they can get noticed and their business will grow. Love it. Zan the Man, I could talk about 3 things forever. One of them is confidence. Yeah, absolutely. So Zan the Man does confidence coaching, very good at it, does it a lot, and he helps people achieve and reach positions of confidence in their lives. Emil, my partner and I run a handmade jewelry coaching business. We coach beginner jewelers and the business side of things. Love it. Love it. So yeah, handmade jewelry coaching. You know, I was talking to my sister-in-law just this weekend who is a florist. I mean, she's an amazing florist, has incredible designs. And we were talking about what if she took that online and started teaching people how to do floral design instead of just doing floral design? How could you teach people to do floral design and make a business out of it? And when I think about like something like handmade jewelry, there's a lot of people who sell handmade jewelry or handmade like crafts or physical products. They sell them on Etsy, and I'm not sure what your business looks like. I'm just using this as an example. And those people could have an entirely different wing of their business teaching people how to do it. And you can do both. You can sell the physical product and coach people on how to make the physical product. And those two things can run parallel, and you can have an amazing business that's diversified in terms of your revenue streams are diversified. You're not just focused on one stream and one way of making money, but you're doing it in a few different ways. Bridget says writing craft. I teach beginning writer of fiction, memoir, and those who use stories in their nonfiction how to make their stories more powerful and how to self-edit. Love it. So beginning writers. So you're not teaching experts at how to become more expert. You're teaching beginning writers. Okay. So they're just getting started. And there's a few different genres, how to make their stories more powerful and how to self-edit. Yeah. Self-editing is very tough. I know that just from my little experience of writing a couple of books, it's very hard to self-edit. It takes like you have to kind of switch on a different side of your brain and just really tackle it from a objective perspective. So that's excellent. So we got a few different ideas, a few different examples here of topics that interest you, topics that you could talk about for hours. What do people come to you for advice? What valuable skill or information could you easily teach others about? So, do you have a valuable skill, or do you know information, or do you have an expertise or a knowledge of something that you could teach others about? And is that valuable? So, when I'm looking through this, marketing design, valuable, absolutely. Helping small business owners with their marketing, absolutely valuable. Confidence, valuable. Handmade jewelry, valuable. Writing, valuable. Yes. And by the way, just because something is a hobby doesn't mean it's not valuable. So you could teach people how to do underwater basket weaving is all the thing people always mention, but you could literally teach underwater basket weaving. I know nothing about that. I don't even know if it's a thing. It probably is, I'm guessing. But hobbies are something that can be incredibly profitable online because there's always people who have that hobby and who want to get better at that hobby. There was somebody that I helped here on Kajabi who runs a pickleball business where he teaches people pickleball technique, has a YouTube channel, has courses. And I don't think he's teaching people who are competing in tournaments, getting paid to play pickleball. Like he's teaching hobbyists who just want to be better at that sport. And he's making a lot of money doing it. And he has a massive following of people, sells a ton of courses, and it's really cool to watch. So it can be valuable just because people are interested in learning about it. That's important to acknowledge. So here's a few pointers to help you decide as you're trying to narrow down your niche or your topic. Sometimes it's hard for us to recognize our expertise on a topic because it's so common to us. This is something that is called the curse of knowledge, that you have knowledge of something, you have an expertise in something, and it's difficult for you to understand that not everybody has that expertise, that it is unique, that you know how to do that thing, and that you understand how it works. That is unique to you. Not everybody has that. So the first step is to realize that just because it comes naturally to you doesn't mean it comes naturally to everybody. It's something that is a unique thing, which means that it's valuable. So if you're having trouble though deciding, there's a thing that you can do. You can make a list, and under each topic of potential ideas, so narrow down to two or three topics, or two or three optional topics. So get it to where you're like, okay, my business could be about this, it could be about that, or it could be about the other thing, right? Three different things. Make a list under each topic of potential ideas you can make content on. Because again, going back to the first thing, is this something that you find interesting enough and compelling enough where you could make content about this for a long time and a lot of it? You could talk about it for hours, because believe me, you will. I mean, I'm on here for 3 hours today talking about this. If I didn't love this, this would be very challenging to do this. But because I love it, it's not so challenging. It's actually very energizing to do this. So make sure it's something that you really could make a lot of content on. And then pay attention to which ideas come easily. Which ideas are you most excited about teaching others, and then narrow it down and pick one. So as you're making your physical list, you're writing this on paper, you're starting to learn and you're starting to discover, yeah, man, the ideas are just flowing with this idea. But over here with this thing, it's just not there. I'm just not seeing, I'm not getting the ideas out of this that I want. So remember, people are not searching for generalized help from people with multiple interests. Rather, they're looking for specific help for a specific problem. So if what you're offering is generalized help for people with general interest, good luck building a loyal following that loves you doing that. You have to narrow it down. It sounds like the people who are on this call have narrowed down pretty good. I would suggest if you haven't decided on a topic, do the things that we've talked about and you can begin to get there. Now, with determining your niche also comes to narrowing down your target audience. So the proposition here becomes a little bit more asking the question, if this is my niche, right? Confidence, or helping new small business owners say what they do from a position of compelling value, or writing craft, or handmade jewelry. If that's my topic, and those are great niches, those are great topics, then what is it how can I narrow down who that content is for? Who is the target audience? Sometimes this is referred to as a ideal customer avatar. Who are we going after with our content? And there's some questions to help you determine and narrow down your target audience. Consider the types of people who might be interested in your topic and ask, what are their biggest goals or desires? Right? So the person who would respond to your content, Bridget, about writing craft, or your content, Emil, about jewelry, handmade jewelry, what are their goals and desires? What are they trying to get out of that? How can your content help them reach their goals? So you should really understand who exactly you want on the other end of your content. Who is the person? What are their struggles? What are their goals and desires? How can your content help them reach their goals? What are their biggest challenges or frustrations, right? So where are they stuck? And then how can your content help them overcome their frustrations or get unstuck? So really, we're looking at two different questions. What are their desires and goals, and how are you going to help them reach them? Where are they stuck, and how are you going to help them get unstuck? So desires, goals, and then frustrations. Those are the two things that we're after. What are they going after, and where are they stuck? And if you can determine and you can narrow down with your content how you and your content are going to help them get unstuck and reach their goals, then you're well on your way to do that. So we're going to talk more about this when we get into building our course, but there's actually a lot we're going to do with goals and frustrations. There's a lot of things that we're going to do just looking at when someone has a goal or a desire, how do you understand that desire? How do you understand that goal? And then when someone has a frustration or a challenge, how do you understand that? And how do you know how your content or your course is going to help them overcome that and get where they need to be? So that's where we're going to go, where this goes a little bit later. So before we move on from this topic of determining your niche, I want to ask you this question, especially for those of you who are on here who have been sharing. Can you, from your target audience, from your niche, can you determine who your content is for? And if so, let me know in the comments, either here on live, or let me know later on if you're watching this. So Tamara said, my niche, I'm on a mission to implement frameworks and systems that build teams, grow, and boost revenue for Black-owned businesses. Excellent. So it's a mission. Okay. So it's not just work. It's not just something that you're interested in. You're on a mission. And that's important to distinguish that, because if you want to present your online business as more than just I'm here to make money. That's my mission. But it's actually to help people. It's really good to state that and say, listen, this is not just a business. I'm on a mission to do something. Frameworks and systems that build teams, grow, and boost revenue. So systems and frameworks that build teams, grow, and boost revenue for Black-owned businesses. So who is this for? It's for Black-owned businesses. Awesome. And what are you helping them do? You're helping them create frameworks and systems. Really excellent. Your business has to be run by systems, not by your memory or what you hope to accomplish. If a business or an organization is systems dependent, meaning that you do everything you do intentionally and there's a purposeful way that you do it, versus people dependent, where it's just up to whoever the talent is at the time and hoping they get it right, you're going to fail if it's people dependent. It's got to be systems dependent. So I'm so glad you're working on systems. That's correct in every one of our businesses. Our online businesses need to have systems. When I was talking to Bridget a little earlier, she said the overwhelm comes from doing everything alone. The way to not do everything alone forever is to create great systems and then hand that off to a virtual assistant. When the time comes and you can afford to pay someone, you can say, this is how I send my emails. This is how I post my content. This is how I make my thumbnails. Whatever it is that you want to hand off, you can do that if you have good systems. So, and then grow and boost revenue. So yeah, so Tamara, every time you work on your online business, you know exactly what you're doing and who it's for. And again, the more specific you can get, the better. What does the person that is in your target audience, your ideal customer avatar, what are they struggling with? What are their desires? How old are they? Do they have any kids? Are they male or female? Are they everything? Does it matter who are they married? Are they single? All of these things, if they matter and if it can help you get more specific about who you're talking to and what you're trying to get across, the better. That's a really, really great thing. All right. So we are going to, and by the way, questions and comments. Love that. Love that you're interacting. Very, very happy to go back and forth in the comments. So keep the questions coming. We're going to move on to number 3, which is master the plan. But before we do, I just want to mention that you can get a 60-day free trial of Kajabi today only. They're doing this because it's 2/2/2/2/2. It's 2 Tuesday. So it's a 2-month free trial. I'm just calling it 60 days because 60 days sounds cool. It's like 60 is more than 2. But you get a 60-day or a 2-month free trial of Kajabi. You also get my free course called Kajabi Accelerator, which is exciting. You get a 45-minute one-on-one Zoom call with me where we can talk about your business, talk about how to grow your business on Kajabi, and I can answer any questions you have about Kajabi, online business, those kind of things. We'll just chat. We'll have a great time. And you'll get my $25,000 course launch email template. So you get all that today. So if you are at all on the fence about jumping on the Kajabi, today's the day. Because, I mean, you get 60 days. Tomorrow, it'll be 30 days. So today is the day if you're going to do it. Let's see what we have here in the comments. The biggest thing I wrestle with the most, this is Bridget. Most beginning writers don't know they need the writing craft techniques I teach because they don't yet know much about the craft of writing. Yeah. Biggest thing I wrestle with, most beginning writers don't know they need. So yeah, that's a great, I want to get to that. I want to answer Tamara's question first. If you're already in a trial, can you use this link as well? No. Unfortunately, Kajabi doesn't, like, once you sign up, if you're in the 45-day trial or if you're in a 30-day trial, that's the trial you're in. But I will tell you that if you used my link, reach out to me and let me know, and I'll give you that course. If you didn't use my link but you're on this call, reach out to me and let me know, and I'll give it to you because I want you to be successful no matter whose link you used. So Bridget, let's talk about this before we move on from this. So the biggest thing I wrestle with is the beginning writers don't know they need the craft of writing techniques I teach because they don't yet know much about the craft of writing. So there's a couple things that come to mind. One, that's common, right? So it's common for people to not fully know that they need your content because people don't know what they don't know. Your job as a content creator, as an online business owner, is to get in front of them if they're your target. And you may determine that people who don't know they need you are not your target, and that's fine. You might just need to go after a different caliber of writer who does know that they need those writing techniques. But my guess is you're probably trying to reach those beginning writers who don't yet know that they really need your content. They would benefit from it. So what I would suggest is to try to orient your content to speak to those people. All right. So that when you're talking, you're saying, hey, you may not know that you need this, but I can tell you all of us need this as writers. We need it. So it's really our job as content creators. When I first started with Preaching Donkey, there was a lot of preachers who would comment and say things like, you don't need this. All you need to do is study the Bible and pray. You don't need all these techniques. And I would say, okay, cool. No, I get that. I can appreciate where you're coming from. However, show me someone who reads the Bible and prays, but doesn't do any work on their speaking, and show me someone else who reads the Bible and prays and also works on their speaking, and I'll show you a better speaker, right? So it's not an either or. So I had to kind of like work on how I messaged my content so that everyone who finds me would realize they need this, even if they don't currently think they do. So in your case, Bridget, I would say orient your content to speak to the person that you want. And if the person you want is a beginning writer who doesn't even know that they need you yet, then it's your job as the content creator, as the business owner, online business owner, to show them that. And the ways to do that is to show them where they're frustrated, because they may not know they need you because they haven't identified their frustration is tied to their lack of this skill. So if you can show them, hey, you're frustrated with this, you're frustrated with this. Well, here's why. It's because you don't realize that these things need to be corrected. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach you that. Or the other way, talk about why they haven't reached their goals. Why are they not getting picked up, right? Why are they not getting published, or whatever it is that you're trying to help them do? Well, it's because they're missing these key things that your content teaches them how to do, right? So if you can show them, hey, I do this. This is what I do. I'm going to help you do this. Then you can go a long, long way. Hope that helps. Keep the questions coming for sure. Keep them coming. Now, let's talk about master the plan. So far, we have talked about cutting out the clutter, getting rid of all the noise so that you can really focus. We talked about determining your niche, which is very, very important. And now we're going to talk about mastering the plan. Mastering the plan. So when it comes to online business, there's a lot of different ways. I feel like Dave Ramsey, this is what he does. He leans back and he puts his hands like this, and he talks into the mic like that. You ever seen Dave Ramsey? If you don't know who Dave Ramsey is, I'm sorry for that, but I just had a Dave Ramsey moment. Anyway, master the plan is what we're talking about. So when it comes to online business, there's a few different ways that you can kind of like approach it. One way is to say, and this is what we talked about at the beginning of this call, that one way is to say, I'm going to try just everything. I'm going to try everything. And if it works, I'll stick with it for a little bit. If it stops working, I'll dump it and move on to something else. And it's a very kind of shiny object syndrome way of approaching online business, where you're not really focused on anything that's going to get you long-term results. Rather, it's kind of this, like, I'm going to go after the things that will help me just feel like I'm doing something, but I'm not really following a plan. When it changed for me was when I started to follow a plan, and that plan is what I'm about to teach you right now. Bridget said, "Oh, that is brilliant. Thank you, Lane." You're welcome. Very, very good. Very good to hear that. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, you said that's brilliant, because a lot of people, when they see me, they say, he's so handsome. Is it possible that he could also be smart? And fortunately, I'm both. Handsome and brilliant. Anyway, that was a joke I heard the other day. I was like, I'm going to use that on this live call. I just don't know when. Emil, got to go now, sadly, but thank you so much for all the info. I have emailed you. Awesome. Yeah, Emil, if you can catch this replay, you'll be able to check out the rest of this on the YouTube channel. All right. So when it comes to mastering the plan, let's talk about this. All right. So the thing that you have to understand is that online business is relatively simple. There's really not there's not it's not as complicated as I think sometimes we make it out to be. And when I discovered this, it helped me a ton because it helped me realize that I don't need to do all the things. I don't need to do everything well. What I need to do is do a few very key things really well, and I need to follow the plan very closely. And within that, there's some flexibility, but I can basically guarantee that I'm going to get results if I follow this simple plan. And it really just has 4 steps. If you're taking notes, you can write this down. The first step is content. The second step is a lead magnet. The third step is your welcome sequence. And the fourth step is your product or your offer. So content, lead magnet, welcome sequence, offer. And we're going to spend some time on this because I'm going to go through each one of these and show you how they fit into your online business and how this process, this plan is really the engine that continues to turn and keep your business moving forward. It's what actually makes your business grow over time. It's what makes your business passive. We talk a lot about passive income here on this channel, and passive income does not mean you don't do any work. It just means that the work that you're doing is setting you up for future income. And the more work you do, the more future income you have, and the less reliant you are on present work for present income, if that makes sense. In other words, a very active way of making money would be to go to a job and clock in and work for an hour and they pay you $15. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. That's fine. But if you have to show up and you have to work for that hour to get that money, then that's active income. You're exchanging time for money. And that's where everybody starts, and that's totally fine. What we're trying to do is we're trying to separate time from money so that your direct input of time is actually fixed. It's a fixed amount of time, and your income grows disproportionate to that fixed income of time. So I'll give you an example. Where this ends up on content, lead magnet, welcome sequence, product offer, where that ends up is the offer, which in our case, we're going to get to this later in the call, but in our case, that's going to be the online course. So that's what we're going to be offering. Well, an online course is the best example of separating your direct input of time from your ability to make money. Because when you build an online course, we're going to talk about how to build it in Kajabi, how to plan for it, all that. But it is a finite product. I mean, you're going to build it. It's going to have a set of lessons. You're going to put videos in it of you teaching. You're going to have worksheets and downloadables and all the things. But once you build it, it's done. And you're going to put a price on that course. You're going to sell it for $100, $200, $300, $50, whatever you decide. Well, that course is going to sell as many times as you can make it sell, as many times as your system sells it. So the more people that find you because of your content, the more people that go through your funnel on Kajabi, the more people that are offered that course, the more people buy it, the more money you make. But your work is the same. So let's say, like, for example, my first course, I spent about 6 months making it. Here, I was working a full-time job at the time. I had to make it in the mornings before I went to work. So it took me several months to do it. And it was a big course. It was a long course, $400 course, flagship, very involved course. So there's a lot of work for 6 months. But then I launched it. I made $25,000. I launched it just kind of 3 launches very close together, made $25,000. And then now it sells every week. People go through 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're finding my content. They're going through my funnel on Kajabi. They're seeing the course in their email. I'm taking them through a launch funnel, and they're purchasing the course. And it's still making me thousands of dollars a year. And it's a course I built 3 years ago, and it took me 6 months to build. So it was a fixed amount of work and disproportionate results, disproportionate returns. That's the best example of what this does. So if you set up your online business so that the work that you do becomes less and less and the money you make becomes more and more, you're doing this right. That's the plan. You got to master that plan. How many of you, let me know in the comments, want to do a business where the work you do becomes less and less, but the money you make becomes more and more? I mean, like, who doesn't want that, right? Like that to me just sounds fun, even saying it. And it's possible. It's the way this works. So let's dive into it. The first thing is content. Now, content is going to be the most important part of your online business. Content is where everything rises and falls on content. The reason why you're on this live event right now is because of my content. If I didn't have content, you wouldn't know who I am, and you wouldn't have any reason to jump on and watch a live stream with me. So, and you certainly wouldn't have any reason to jump on a Kajabi for the 60-day trial using my link to get my bonuses, because how do you know they're valuable unless you've seen my content? The same thing with the people who over on Preaching Donkey buy my courses or are in my membership site. The way they find me is not because I show up at their door and knock on it and say, "Hi, I'm Lane. I have really valuable stuff to sell to you." No, it's the content. They find me on YouTube, they find me on social media, and they say, "Oh, this guy is answering the question that I'm asking. So I like this guy. I'll follow this guy. I'll buy this guy's courses. I'll like, if this guy's selling coaching, I'll buy that because he's helped me, right?" And the same is true for every one of the niches that we've talked about in this, is that unless you're going to spend a ton of money selling advertising, running ads, you have to have content. So here's the content plan. Number one, you want to publish consistent, helpful, relevant content. How many of you, let me know in the comments, are making content currently? And if you are, how often are you putting the content out? And where is it? Is it on YouTube? Is it a podcast? Is it a blog? Let me know. So are you making content? How often and what platform? So let's talk about this. Consistent. What is consistent content? I think for an online business, when you're trying to grow it, like when you're trying to get some traction with your online business, what you really have to aim for is at least once a week. But I strongly encourage you to do your main pieces of content at least twice a week when you're first starting out. Now, what I'm talking about is main content platforms, like original content. So if it's a blog, if it's YouTube, like long form videos, or just regular videos, it's not a social media post, it's not a reel, it's not TikTok, it's regular content, or your podcast. So if it's one of those, at least once a week. And if you can do it more, twice a week or 3 times a week is great in most situations. Not for everybody, but for a lot. So this person says handcrafted income. He or she blogs weekly, trying to get up the nerve to do YouTube. Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's a great. Actually, let's talk about that right now. Let's talk about YouTube, because we are talking about content. And actually, let me finish my thought. So consistent content once a week, at least. Helpful. What does it mean that it's helpful? And this is where, I was talking to someone just the other day, and we were talking about their online business, and they were really struggling with content. And I said, you know what? All you have to think about is when someone goes to YouTube. So YouTube is, I'm just using this as an example because I love YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the whole world, next to Google. But YouTube is also owned by Alphabet, which owns Google. So it's all the same company. So YouTube is not merely a video platform, although it is. It's a search engine. It's where people go to find answers to specific questions. So YouTube is a place that people are going there every day, all day long, and saying, how do I figure out X? How do I figure out Y? And if you can position your content so that it's on the other side of that question, right? Where when people go in there and they look for, what I'm trying to do is what I'm trying to get is when somebody goes to YouTube and they ask, Kajabi review, or is Kajabi worth it, or can I build XYZ on Kajabi? I want them to find me, because there's a lot of people talking about online business, which is great. I really love Kajabi, and I've focused on growing that. And I want to be on the other side of those questions. When people ask about Kajabi or online business on Kajabi, I want them to find me. So what I've done is I have just saturated YouTube with content about me, of me talking about Kajabi. And I've tried to make it as helpful as possible and as consistently as I can, and relevant. Relevant meaning, is this something people are actually asking about? Is this something that people in your target audience, in your niche, are wanting to know? That's really, really important. This will build your know, like, and trust factor. So when you're making content, you want to build rapport. You want people to get on there and say, "Hey, this is somebody that I like. This is somebody that I know. This is somebody that I trust." And the more content you make, and the more times they find you because you're on the other end of their search, and they end up subscribing to your podcast, they subscribe to your YouTube channel, they jump onto your email list, then they become so loyal to you as a content creator because you're the person who's given them consistent, helpful, relevant content. So let's look at the comments here. Chocolate Twist Yoga, hi Lane and everybody, awesome, great to see you. Zan the Man is saying hi to everybody. Good. Handcrafted income. Let's go back to this comment about YouTube. Trying to get up the nerve. Yeah, I get it. YouTube is scary. If you are a writer and you're used to doing blogs, and you go from blogging in that world to YouTube and the kind of video world, it can be very scary. There are some things that make it a little less scary, a little more like manageable, and I'll walk through those as best I can. First, if you want to feel better about yourself, go to my YouTube channel, either one of them, this one, Lane Sebring, or Preaching Donkey. Go to videos, sort by date posted, sort by oldest, oldest video, and especially on Preaching Donkey, and you will see the worst videos you've ever seen. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to talk to the camera. I had terrible audio, terrible video. I look back at those and it's embarrassing. But I feel fine now doing this. And hopefully 5 years from now, I'll look back and I'll be embarrassed about where I am now, because hopefully I'll be better. But I got over the nerve because I just did it. I'm a little more than a month into my 45-day Kajabi trial through your link from January. So far, I have built the website and a couple of lead magnets. I have 356 people on my email list so far. Awesome. Love it. First of all, thank you for using my link. Don't know if you saw this at the beginning of the call, but email me and I'll give you my course, my brand new course for new affiliates called Kajabi Accelerator. I'll give you that for free. You built the website, a couple lead magnets, 356 people. Yeah, you got the makings of an awesome business there. So when it comes to YouTube, yeah, go back and look at my videos. They're terrible and embarrassing, but I posted them anyway. Like you have to kind of just be okay with like being embarrassed, I guess. You have to be okay with looking somewhat foolish. It's kind of like on this channel, I have just over 5,000 subscribers, which in the YouTube world is a tiny, tiny channel. And I'm talking about business, which is a very saturated niche with very big players in it. So sometimes when I do my little videos about how to make passive income, I realize that they might be laughable to people who are making millions of dollars a year, and I'm only making what I'm making. But I still do them because I'm okay looking foolish to people who aren't really in my target niche anyway. I'm okay with that because I know that for the people that I'm reaching, they're going to resonate with it. So if you're trying to work up the nerve to do YouTube, just know, hey, there's a very specific person that you're going after as handcrafted income. And those people are going to resonate with you. And if nobody else does, then that's okay. Don't worry about those people. So Chocolate Twist Yoga, Lane, is it possible to get content on a Kajabi blog to rank? I'm considering adding a WordPress subdomain for my blog only. Signed up with your link, reaching out to you soon. Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for using my link. I appreciate it very much. And second, yes, you can get Kajabi blog posts to rank. It's like any other system where it takes a while for especially if you got a brand new Kajabi site. uh, Google has to crawl it first, like they crawl every site out there. I think in the old days, the thought was that basically Google was going to favor WordPress sites over just about everybody else. I don't see that anymore, especially with so many competitors like Squarespace, Wix, platforms like Kajabi. What Google is going after is the most helpful answer to whatever search question, the most helpful response to the keywords that were put in there. It just so happens that there's a lot of WordPress sites that rank really well because a lot of people who do blog content do it on WordPress. There's a few different posts and YouTube videos that I've watched about how to get your Kajabi blogs to rank higher, like what you can do. And it's the same SEO techniques that you would do on a WordPress site. It's just different on your Kajabi site. So I would look those up. I'm going to do content about that as well because I want to get more into trying to figure out how to rank higher on Kajabi. But my short answer is yes, Google is going for what they're going for, regardless of the platform that you're on. There are people who would say the opposite. I just don't think there's a whole lot of evidence for that. I think it's changed from the way it used to be. And Google's they're trying to serve up the most helpful answers in that order, like from most helpful to least helpful. That's why if you can get on that front page of Google in the first or second or third or fourth spot, you're doing really, really well. And if you can get the snippet, it's even better. That means that they're taking content from your post and putting it up there in the answer. And some people think that's not good, but I think it's great because it's a way of basically Google promoting your stuff to the very top, and the amount of people that read the snippet and end up clicking on it is very high, even though depending on the type of question that they're asking, it might be lower, but you get the idea. But that's how I'd answer that question. Great question. Yeah. And so for those of you who are are thinking about jumping onto Kajabi while we're talking about that 60-day thing today, 60-day trial, 60-day free trial on Kajabi today using my link lanesebring.com/Kajabi. That 60-day free trial is not going to be available tomorrow. It's only available for 2/2/2/2. All right. So let's get back to mastering the plan. Keep the comments coming. I love talking through them. Oh, wait, sorry. I didn't mean to show that comment. I didn't realize I could do that. I should be doing that. Okay, so let me go back to master the plan. All right. So when it comes to this, we're on content. Now, what role does social media play in this? And I'm a little different than a lot of people in that I really don't think that you have to be everywhere at all times in order to make a great living online. I've done it twice in two different businesses, and I post very lightly to a lot of social media platforms. So much so lightly that in some cases, like I don't even really want to do it. I have my virtual assistant repost content to there just so I can stay a little bit present on those platforms, but I'm not really aggressively trying to grow them. Where my content lives and where I'm trying to really grow my reach, at least right now, is YouTube and podcasting on my other brand, YouTube on Lane Sebring, and then YouTube and my podcast on Preaching Donkey, and a little bit of blogging. So where do social media platforms come in? I would say that your main pieces of content, YouTube, podcasting, blogging, need to be where your content kind of lives. And then from that, you can take pieces of it and share it to Instagram, make reels out of it, TikToks, Facebook, whatever. Do your thing on that, but make sure that your main pieces of content are that consistent, helpful, relevant content that's building your rapport, that know, like, and trust factor. And then the last thing I'll say about content is never let a piece of content go to waste. This is huge. What I'm about to share with you is perhaps the most valuable thing that I learned from one of my business mentors, Graham Cochran, when I first started looking at his content. And that is that a lot of content, a lot of my content prior to like 2019 was a complete dead end. So this is what I mean by that. I would make a YouTube video and it would be, hey everybody, today in this video we're going to talk about 7 ways to make passive income online. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, 15-minute video, get to the end of it. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, be sure to leave a comment, like, blah blah blah. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. And that was it, right? It was just a dead end piece of content where if somebody got on and they watched it, maybe they would subscribe to my channel. Most likely they would forget I ever existed and they would move on. And I would not have done the one thing that is the most valuable thing that my content should be doing, and that is capture leads. Your content, my content, is the most powerful marketing tool we have because it proves our authority. It reaches people who need to know or who want to know what we're teaching. And it demonstrates that I have the expertise, I have the knowledge to answer the question that you're asking. And this is why it's so important to make sure that your content is not a dead end. And by the way, this is the same for when somebody visits your website and reads a blog post. It's the same for when they listen to a podcast episode. And especially it's true on platforms like YouTube because people's attention is so divided. So if somebody lands on your content and there's not a way to get them from your content to your email list, then your content is a dead end. And we don't want any dead end content. If you're listening and you're agreeing, can I get an amen in the comments? You can just put no dead ends. And that way I'll know you're listening. No dead ends. While you're doing that, I'm going to take a drink of my coffee and then another drink of my water. All right. So what is going to happen with lead magnets? All right. Or let me say it this way. So if your content is not a dead end, then what does that mean? It means that you Handcrafted Income said no dead ends. Yes, someone is listening. Thank you. So if your content is not a dead end, what that means is that there has to be a very specific call to action. Thank you, Bridget. No dead ends. The call to action is going to come from your lead magnet. So I want to get into what a lead magnet is and how to make one. But first, I want to just talk about what a lead magnet must do. So there's 2 things every lead magnet has to do. Number 1, a lead magnet has to have a compelling promise, okay? A compelling focused promise. And number 2, a lead magnet must deliver a quick win. So let's talk about those 2 things. So when you make a lead magnet, so I'll give you an example. So my lead magnet, my main lead magnet on my Preaching Donkey brand is called the 21-Day Guide to Creating Killer Sermons. So first of all, it's a compelling promise. It is not the 21-Day Guide to Preaching Marginally Better Sermons. It is the 21-Day Guide to Creating Killer Sermons, right? So I want it to be compelling. I want it to be something that when I talk about that lead magnet to the right people in the right content at the right time, I want them to go, yeah, wow, I want to do that. I want to preach killer sermons, right? Like I want to figure this out. The other thing is it has to deliver a quick win. It's a 21-day guide. It's not a 21-week guide. It's not a 1-year guide. It's in less than a month. It's in 3 weeks. You follow this guide and you are going to get these results. That's all the lead magnet has to do. So now let's go back to our content. In your content, for it to not be a dead end, you have to give a call to action to your lead magnet. And the reason why this is so important is the lead magnet is the bridge between the content and the email list. Gone are the days, and everyone can understand this, gone are the days when you just say, sign up for my newsletter, subscribe to my newsletter, subscribe to get emails to your inbox. Nobody wants your newsletter, right? Like nobody wants more emails. What they want is value. What they want is transformation. And so in your lead magnet is that's how you make that. So if you're chocolate twist yoga, I don't know anything about what you do, but my guess is that you're teaching yoga, maybe with a twist, and maybe it's dessert oriented. I don't know. But if your lead magnet is going to get people from your content to your email list, it has to be something that bridges that gap in a very compelling way. So maybe it's a set of yoga stretches that you can do, or a free guide that you put together that's a video that they can't watch unless they give you their email address. Anything that you want it to be, just some type of content, whether it's a PDF or whether it's a video or an audio training, doesn't matter. It's just something they can't get publicly. They can only get it when they subscribe. And it's called a lead magnet because a lead is a potential customer and a magnet is something that draws them, right? So, and I want to mention this because this is something that I didn't specify one time. And so I had a student and I was watching his content and he actually said the word lead magnet. And I was like, don't say that in your content. So he said, hey, get my lead magnet down below. Lead magnet is insider language. It's like insider baseball. All right. So you don't need to say lead magnet. It just is a lead magnet. What you want to say is what the compelling promise is and how quickly they're going to get that win. So if you have a lead magnet and you're you're on here, let me know in the comments below, what is your lead magnet and what is the compelling promise of it and what kind of win does it deliver? I'd love to hear. We'll talk about it. So going back to your content, when you have your lead magnet, let's go back to the 7 ways to make passive income. So if I made that video and I didn't want it to be a dead end, here's how it would go instead. I would say, hey, today in this video, we're going to talk about how to make passive income in 7 different ways. If you stick around to the end, you're going to get everything you need to make, passive income with these seven ways. And I think you'll find that at least one of these you'll be able to implement. Before we jump into it, I want to give you something for free. You can go to lanesebring.com/super simple. You can pick up my free super simple guide to your first $500 online. In this, I'm going to show you the exact steps that I took to make 2 different online businesses, to leave my job and to go full-time doing this. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And you're actually going to be able to take some of these things we're talking about today and apply them using this guide. So go to lanesebring.com/super simple. You can pick it up there for free. And then I go on with the content. So you see what I did there? Now my content's not a dead end. It's actually a bridge to something else. And so I'm still going to serve them with the content. It's not a bait and switch. That video, that 15-minute video is still going to be really good. And I'm still going to give those 7 ways that they can make passive income. And there's going to be people who skip over that part or who glaze over whatever, or there's going to be people who just, okay, cool. And they watch the video, but then they go back, they watch the video, they benefit from it, but they never download the lead magnet. All that is fine. I'm totally okay with all that because I know that there are going to be people, a percentage of people who are going to hear me talk about that lead magnet and they're going to go, oh, yeah, cool. I'll take it. Where is that? lanesebring.com/super simple. And they're going to go down to the comments. They're going to click on that. And I'm going to have a new email subscriber. And that's how your content goes from being a dead end to being a bridge. Handcrafted Income said, I have 2 that I am testing. One is a checklist and the other is a pricing formula sheet. Very good. That helps you price your handmade products. So far, the checklist is my main one. By the way, so I love the niche, handcrafted income. Love the spin on that. So this is something I was talking about earlier on the call. I'm not sure if you were on, but I was talking about my sister-in-law who has a floral business, and she's done a little bit of like live training workshops. But I was talking to her about how to shift that to where she's talking to people and teaching them how to do the floral arrangements. I think that's really cool. So I love that you're doing that. Between checklist and a pricing formula sheet, who knows which one is going to work better? You never know until you test. And that's why I'm glad you're testing. And that's great. I've done checklist as well. Checklist can do really good or do really well. Pricing formula sheet. I mean, anytime you can help someone solve a problem, like in that case, it's a math problem. Like what do I charge? How do I determine the value? That's really helpful. So I'm interested to know how that goes. Let me know. My lead magnet is called, this is Tamara. My lead magnet is called Top 5 Systems Solopreneurs Should Have in Place to Scale to 6 Figures. Love it. So top 5 systems. Yeah. So you got an emphasis. So this is going back to your niche that you determined earlier. You are all about helping people build systems. So it makes sense that your lead magnet would have the top 5 systems, solopreneurs, right? So that's people who are doing online businesses on their own, like they don't have a team, it's just them, should have in place to scale to six figures. Love that. Bridget, the ultimate guide to dialogue punctuation. Clear, compelling dialogue is essential for reader engagement, but grammar rules can be confusing and even contradictory. Eliminate the overwhelm today. Love that. Love it. Yeah, if you've ever tried to write fiction where there's dialogue, it's very, very difficult to know what rules there are, what rules you can bend or break, and you can easily become overwhelmed. And at the end of the day, if you're following all the rules, but it's not interesting or engaging, that's not good either. So I love that. Dialogue punctuation. Very good. And that's specific too, right? The ultimate guide to dialogue punctuation. If somebody got on there watching your content and you talk about that lead magnet, hey, grab my ultimate guide to dialogue punctuation. Clear, compelling dialogue is essential for reader engagement. But grammar rules can be confusing and even contradictory. Eliminate the overwhelm today. If you're talking to the person who is struggling with that problem or wants an answer, or even is just slightly interested. And by the way, for lead magnets, that's all it takes. It just takes somebody being like, huh, yeah, that sounds interesting, because it's free, right? It's a free download. All you're asking is for their name and email address. That's it. So if they're willing to give up that, they get this massive amount of value, which is really awesome. By the way, if any of you are having trouble from a technical perspective on how to build out a lead magnet on Kajabi or otherwise, definitely check out a playlist I just made on my YouTube channel. So if you go to this YouTube channel, go to playlist, and you'll see a playlist about landing pages. Click on that. There's a bunch of videos there that will help you on Kajabi build a lead magnet, set up a landing page, all of those things. By the way, I'm really trying to equip as well as I can for every possible thing that there is to do on Kajabi and anywhere you might be stuck. So I have a bunch of playlists on my YouTube channel. I'm trying to organize them really well. I'm putting out more and more every week. So if you ever have a question about Kajabi, check my YouTube channel, because I've probably answered the question, and I've probably answered it pretty thoroughly from a lot of different angles. And if for whatever reason, if I haven't yet, but you would like me to, let me know. Email me and tell me, and I'll get to it. All right, love it. So if there are any more lead magnets that you've done, let me know. So just to review, so we have jumped into the mastering the plan aspect of this. Building your business in 60 days takes 5 steps. We've cut out the clutter. That was the first thing we did. We determined our niche. That was the second thing we did. And with that, we developed a ideal customer avatar that we're trying to go after. We have mastered the plan. That's the current step that we're on. And mastering the plan has 4 steps. The first one is content. The second one is your lead magnet. The third one is the welcome sequence. And the fourth one is your offer. So we've talked about content and lead magnets so far, and some of you have shared your lead magnets as well. So we don't want any of our content to be a dead end. We want our content to be something that leads to more. Now, I want to give a little bit of a tip here. If you're doing content on YouTube, this is especially easy to do. Once you've given your main call to action, which is your lead magnet, you've said, hey, today we're going to talk about XYZ. Before we get into it, I want you to download my lead magnet. Don't call it a lead magnet, call it whatever it is, the guide that it is, the helpful, really valuable thing that it is, call it that. Once you've done that, what I like to do is at the end of the video, I want to keep the people who are watching my YouTube videos, I want to keep them on my channel, and I want to keep them watching. So what I do is, instead of saying, hey, thanks so much for watching, catch you in the next video, I utilize end screens. And this is something I got from Tim Schmoyer over at Video Creators. Super helpful advice. The last 20 seconds of your YouTube video, you have the option to do an end screen, which is where these little screens can pop up with other videos people can watch. It could be a playlist from your channel. It could be a video from your channel, like whatever. And they hang out like right here. or right here, and you're still on screen. So what I do is I just plan for one to be like right here, and I just say, "Thanks so much for watching, blah blah blah." And but instead of saying like all this stuff that just indicates that they're going to leave, like "Thanks so much for watching," like I just said, I might say something like, "And you might be interested in diving deeper into these 7 different ways to make passive income online. And I put together this playlist right here, which will show you exactly each one of these in more detail. So click right there. I'll be in that playlist and we'll talk more about how to make passive income here on YouTube." So by doing that, what I'm doing is I'm continuing like the value. I'm basically saying the video might be over, but we're not done, right? We're still going to be hanging out. I'm in the playlist. It's like on Zoolander, like the files are in the computer, right? It's like I'm in that playlist. So that's what I try to do to show people like, hey, I'm in there. I'm hanging out. Just come join me and we'll talk more about this thing. And what I have found is that if you can get someone on your channel watching your YouTube videos and they download your lead magnet, that's awesome. But even if they don't, you're going to mention it in every video anyway. So if they watch video 1 and they go, "Wow, that's really good," and they click on the playlist and now they're watching your playlist, they're watching 5, 6, 10 videos from you in a row. That is like content creator gold, because what you've done is you've taken someone who's just a casual observer on your YouTube channel, and you've turned them into somebody who's like binging your content. That is going to boost your know, like, and trust factor. They're going to go, "Wow, I really know this person because I've watched 17 videos in 2 hours. Uh, I like them, or I wouldn't be watching them, and I trust them because they're giving me such helpful, relevant content, and it's awesome, right?" So that's what I try to do. Is I try to keep people on platform. So always, always, always mention your lead magnet. And then if it's possible, if it's a YouTube, if it's a podcast episode, you just point to the next one. You say, "Thank you so much for listening. I have another episode that you might really enjoy. It's episode 56 right here. And it goes in, we talked about XYZ and it's related." You just got to think about what content have you already made that is related in a way that they would be interested in watching it next. And then when it comes to blog post, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, put links in there, right? Put hyperlinks in there. And especially towards the end, make sure you mention your lead magnet at the beginning. It can be like between paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, you just put it in there. And then towards the end of the blog post, you might have something that kind of leads them to the next thing to read on your blog. Chocolate Twist Yoga, good stuff in the live stream. Thank you. I really appreciate the feedback because sometimes it's hard to know if anybody is getting value. So I appreciate that very much. I've created a 7-day yoga journey for my lead magnet. 7-day yoga journey. Yes, love that. In fact, could you drop a link to that? We were traveling this week, and I hurt my back lifting, and I was doing deadlifts, and I pushed it too hard. It was like 2 weeks ago, and my back was so sore and so stiff for like 2 weeks. And we were traveling, and my brother and sister-in-law have been doing yoga. They did like 30 straight days of yoga, and they were swearing by it. Like it just. So I'm very interested in doing 7 days of yoga so that I can help my back pain. So, and yes, Zoolander, love it. Love Zoolander. The files are in the computer. All right, so that is content and then lead magnet. So now the question is, once someone has downloaded your lead magnet, what happens next, right? So you did your job. Your content is compelling and consistent and helpful. And in your content, you serve them well. So you've gained their trust. They know you, they like you, they trust you. You've offered something for free in exchange for their email address. That's your lead magnet. And it's compelling and delivers a quick win. What happens next? The next thing that happens is a welcome sequence. So they are joining your email list. You want to welcome them, right? This is the set of emails a new subscriber receives when downloading your lead magnet. It's a set of emails. And if it's on Kajabi, super, super easy to set this up. Again, for the technical aspects of this, go to my YouTube channel, go to playlist, look for Email Marketing Magic. It's a playlist called Email Marketing Magic, and it will show everything I'm about to teach. It will all be in there, like 15 or 20 videos or whatever, 8 or 9 videos that will show you step by step how to do this. But I'm going to give you the kind of the overview here. So this is a set of emails that new subscribers receive when they download your lead magnet. So what happens is they watch your content and you talk about your really compelling 7-day yoga journey for your, that they can get, and they get that. Well, what happens is they put their name and email, and then Kajabi automatically, because you've set this up, sends them that first email, which delivers that lead magnet. So they get an email and it says, here is your 7-day yoga journey, right? It's right here in your inbox. And so they click on it and they download it if it's a guide, or they watch the videos if it's videos, and it's an email from you. And you're saying, hey, so great to have you. Thank you for downloading this. You're going to get some really great stuff from me over the next few days, and it's going to be great. So keep an eye on that. And over the next few days, you're going to over deliver. You're going to get feedback. You're going to add value, and then eventually you're going to offer your product, which we'll talk about in a second. So how do you over deliver? This is another thing I learned from Graham Cochran. I think it's an amazing thing to do. When you send someone your lead magnet, try to figure out how can you over deliver. So you promised them the 7-day yoga journey. Is there something that you can add to that as a bonus that you didn't even tell them about, but you're just giving it to them to sweeten the pot? Like, they open their email, they're expecting the 7-day yoga journey, and they get that. So they're happy. But then a little bit further down the email, it says, and I wanted to give you something else, a bonus 2 days. Right now it's a 9-day journey, right? But it's a bonus couple of days, and it's helping you with back pain, or it's helping you with this particular stretch or this particular hold or move, right? Those are the things that really, really help to get that know, like, and trust factor, where they know you, they like you, they trust you, because you didn't just deliver what you promised. That's expected. You over delivered. You gave them more than you promised. And then you get feedback. One of the things I love, and I talked about this earlier on in the call when we were talking about, what were we talking about earlier on in the call? We were talking about the like determining your niche, your target, your customer target avatar, ideal customer avatar. And we were saying, ask them 2 questions. One is, what is your desires and goals? And then what are your challenges and frustrations? So desires, goals, challenges, frustrations. Well, in your email sequence, that's one of the best ways to do that. I do that on Preaching Donkey, where when somebody downloads my 21-day guide, they get it. They get a bonus guide. A couple days later, they get an email from me where I just introduce myself, say, hey, I'm Lane, and I want to know about you. What are your biggest challenges when it comes to preaching? And what are your biggest goals when it comes to preaching? And then I just mentioned, hey, I read every one of these myself. So, please feel free to just hit the reply button and respond. Every single day of the week, I get emails responding to that particular email in my email sequence. And people tell me in their words how they're stuck and where they're stuck and what they're going after and why they're going after it. You know what that does for me as a content creator? Like, you know what that does for me as a course creator and as a membership site builder? I know, I learn from my customers every single day what they're struggling with and what they want. Well, then when I go to make content, I have that in the back of my mind. Here's where people are stuck, and here's what people want. And how can my content and my products get them unstuck and get them the results they want? That's an amazing thing. And it does the other thing too, where these people, because they feel heard, right? I didn't just teach and teach and teach and talk at them and talk at them. I'm actually saying, tell me about you. Let me know what you're going through. Now these people are like, wow, this guy really cares, right? And he's actually going to build content around what I'm actually going after or where I'm actually stuck and frustrated. That's really, really valuable. So this stuff happens in your welcome sequence. And this is one of the things that I talked about earlier. This is automatic. You're not having to do this every time. You set it and forget it, right? Or you set it and tweak it. We don't really forget it. We just tweak it over time. So they get the lead magnet and the over deliver of value. You get feedback. You add more value, right? So in your email sequence, you're giving them more helpful content. You're sending them maybe an email that's just like text. It's like a blog post format where you're just giving them even more things that they can learn from you, or strategies or things that they can implement. You're giving them more and more value. And then eventually, and we'll get to this in our next little part, you're going to offer your product. And that's going to be where all this is going. And by that time, everybody is so appreciative of the value, the overvalue, the over deliver, that when it comes time for you to offer your product, it's going to be something where they look at it and they go, wow, yeah, if your free stuff is this good, if you're this committed to my success and I've never paid you a dime, I can't even imagine how amazing your paid stuff is going to be. So let's go through some comments before we move on to the next part and answer some questions here. Handcrafted Income says, I feel, let me put this in here, see if this works. Yes, I can do it. Love it. I feel like I am in limbo with this part. They've gotten my lead magnet, but my course isn't done yet. So I don't know what to send them right now after they got the lead magnet. Okay, great question. So I had this issue for a while on my Preaching Donkey side of things. Before I had my courses, I just had my books, but it wasn't really, it wasn't really the type of product that I really wanted to promote for this. But I get what you're saying. Like, what do you do when you don't have a product yet? Every single thing still applies, right? So you can still over deliver. You can still get feedback from them. And by the way, if you're building your course, that's when you need the feedback. You need to ask them, what are you struggling with, and what are your goals? Because that's what's going to show you very specifically how your content can help solve those problems and get them on the right track. So do everything else. But the one thing I would suggest is offer coaching. Coaching is something that you can offer right away. You don't have to build it. You don't have to set it up in advance. You can do one-on-one coaching. You can do group coaching, and it can be something that you can charge a lot for. And it may not be for everybody, and you can limit the number of clients, but you can even get a waiting list for coaching clients. But I would imagine that there's probably people who will watch your content, go through your welcome sequence, and when they get to that email where you say, hey, I have a few spots open for personalized one-on-one coaching. If you're interested, fill out this form. Set up a form, just simple application. They can fill it out, and then they'll go from there. But I think it's one of those things where if you don't have a course yet, you can offer coaching. Coaching is something that, for me, on the Lane Sebring side of things, when I first started this business, I didn't have any products. I wasn't promoting Kajabi. I didn't have a coaching program. I didn't have a group program like I have now called Insiders. So I just offered coaching, and I had a few clients, and that paid me a little bit of money, and I learned a lot from it. I was able to coach people one-on-one and really dig into how to help them, and it was great. So I would suggest one-on-one coaching if you don't have a product yet, but everything else stays the same. Because, and this is something I want to mention, because even when you don't have a product, the welcome sequence is more about helping these people understand the value of your online business, so that your emails, the value you're bringing, the over deliver, is just proving yourself to them over and over and over. It's proving your authority to them. It's showing them that following you is worth it and valuable, and you're going to help them. It's warming them up, right? So that when the day comes that you launch that course, you've got this big list of all these people who are like, yes, this is awesome. And this person has served me well, and they've taught me everything I know. And when the day comes that they start emailing me about a course, you better believe I'm going to buy it. Hope that helps. I do give them a bonus as well in the initial email where they can get the download. Love it. Yeah, bonuses are great. I'm going to talk about the thank you page as well. We'll get into that in just a second. Chocolate Twist, 2 questions to add in welcome sequences: biggest goals, challenges, and frustrations. Fire. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The more information you can get about that person. And honestly, let's be honest, people love talking about themselves, and people love being known by you, the content creator. All right. So think about this. You are the expert. They watch your content. They really resonate with you. They feel like they know you. And now you give them a chance for you to know them. You give them a chance for you to know what they're struggling with, what their goals are, a little bit about themselves, and you're actually going to read it and respond. That is a massive, massive value because it's access to you that they didn't have to pay for. You're not hiding it behind a paywall. You're being very generous and open-handed with it. By the way, that's the style that I have in my business. It's not really a style. It's more of it's a principle. It's a value that I have of generosity. I really believe that that gets returned. And so I have a very open hand with my business, and I try to be very generous. But I also have to make money, so I'm not doing everything for free. But long before I'm ever going to ask somebody to buy something, I want to show them I mean business in serving you. So I think by doing those two questions, it shows that you are for them. And that's really, really cool. Zan the Man says, wow, do people realize you're going on, you're going on and on for 2 hours, nonstop talking and no break? Yeah, no, I'm feeling that. Let me get some water. Yeah. Yeah, this has been fun. I will have a at noon, we have a guest, a special guest, a surprise guest that's going to jump on and talk to us about some stuff. Again, we're not selling anything, just talking about Kajabi today and how to build your business in 60 days. Let's see. Handcrafted Income says, thanks. You're welcome. Chocolate Twist, right, Zan the Man, value, love it. Let's put some love on that like button, friends. Lots of value here. Oh man, you're a friend, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate that very much. All right. So you guys are firing me up. I'm ready to get going for this next round of things. So what we've done so far in our plan, and remember, we're talking today about mastering the plan. And so what is the plan? The plan is content, which goes to your lead magnet, which goes to your welcome sequence. And then once we've done a really good welcome sequence, we are going to offer our product. Now, in most cases, this is going to be an online course, and then maybe it's going to be a membership site. Maybe it's going to be both. I've done that. I have both. Maybe it's going to be coaching. Maybe it's going to be consulting, group coaching, one-on-one coaching. Could be any number of things. When you're selling your knowledge, what we're talking about here really is just the packaging. How are you packaging it and delivering it? So you've got the free content, you've got your paid content. Those two things are different. Within the paid content, that's your offer. How are you going to package that? What I suggest for most people is to start with coaching for the same thing that I talked to. Who was I talking to that about? Was that Bridget or was that Handmade? Oh, okay. That was Handcrafted Income. I was talking to them about this. Is that when you don't have a online course yet, you can get a lot of mileage out of coaching. So I always recommend start with coaching, but then build a mini course, launch it to your list. Then it becomes what new subscribers are offered. So we're going to get into building your first course. That's going to be part 4 of our time today. But in terms of the plan really has these 4 parts: the content, then it goes to the lead magnet, the welcome sequence, and the offer. And in the offer, in the welcome sequence, the offer kind of is the second half of that welcome sequence. So when you're going through your welcome sequence and you get to this part, if we go back to the welcome sequence, there's going to be the over deliver, delivering the bonus that you offered them. You over deliver with maybe another bonus. You add value. You're sending emails with value. You are getting feedback from them so that you can learn more about them and where they're struggling and what they want. And then, okay, you are going to say, hey, you've got this problem, right? You've looked for these solutions to this problem. You're frustrated because those solutions haven't gotten you the results that you want. I have a better solution because I've sifted through all these other solutions and I've realized they're all junk and I've made a better one. And it's my course. It's XYZ course. And here's what you're going to get from it. Here's the results that you're going to get. Here's how much it cost. Oh, wait, there's bonuses, right? You're going to get these bonuses thrown in as well that are going to make it even more sweet. And then they're going to buy that. That sequence That offer is a set of emails. It's a launch. And that actually is going to just become an evergreen launch sequence. That's going to be part of what new subscribers get when they subscribe to you. So that's the plan. And at the end of the day, like when this is over, let's say you go through this, you do your content, lead magnet, welcome sequence, and you build a mini course. Well, what do you do next? Well, you launch that mini course, which we're going to talk about in our next section. But you launch the mini course, and you rinse and repeat. You build your audience a little bit more. You put that mini course into your welcome sequence so that anybody who subscribes goes through that whole system, that whole sequence of things, and they're offered that course. So then it becomes, how many people can my content reach? The more people my content reaches, the more people that I'm able to get into this system, the more people that are going to be benefiting and get value along the way, and the more courses I'm going to sell. And it becomes automatic. This is how we get to that point that I talked about earlier, where we're doing less work, but making more money. Because think about this, with all these things set up, your content, you're continuing to crank out a piece of content every week, and that automatically is leading to your lead magnet, which is automatically leading to your welcome sequence, which is automatically offering your product. And that is all happening. And all you have to do is go over and make the content and keep the content coming and make sure it's not a dead end. And that is very manageable. Believe me, once you've set up all these pieces and you tell yourself, okay, now all I have to do is go back to my content, and maybe start working on my second product, but my first product is already selling, and all I've got to do is work on my content to keep this thing going. That is a very liberating place to be. And it's where you realize that you can really begin to separate your time from the money. I'll give you an example. So in October, we traveled. We went to the beach in South Florida, spent a couple weeks there. My mom was in town for a week for her birthday, and I barely worked in October. I might have worked a week and a half out of that whole month. It was a record-breaking month income-wise. That record was broken again in November. We made more in November, but October, I had the biggest month I'd ever had by a good amount, and I worked the least I've worked in a year and a half. And that is because of the way this system just plain works. I just want to point out, he's pooped. I mean, he's just tired. He's just hanging out there on the floor. Let's look at some comments, and then I want to talk about thank you pages before we move on to number 5. Bridget says, does it make sense to end the welcome sequence with asking what the subscriber's frustrations and goals are when you don't have an offer yet? Absolutely. So what I would say is, let me answer the question I thought you were asking at first. If the question is, should you still ask them about their goals and frustrations when you don't have an offer? Yes, you should always ask about goals and frustration, because that is key insights when you're building a product, when you're determining what content to make. If you know what their frustrations are and what their goals are, you are so far ahead of everyone else. So yes, always ask that. Now, if the question is, should you end with that? I wouldn't. What I would end my funnel with would be, more value. Like, if I'm not going to offer something, I would give a couple of days of more value. Now, I want to mention, if you're making consistent, regular content, send that to your list every week. So you don't just put your list through a welcome sequence for 5 days and then, hope they remember you 6 months from now when you launch a course. You want to continually be putting yourself in front of them with value. You're not asking for anything. It's just every week you put out a piece of content, and if it's good enough to publish, it's good enough to send to your list. So you send it to them and you say, hey, I put out this piece of content today on XYZ. I think you're really going to love it. Watch it here, listen to it here, read it here. That's what you do with your list after that initial welcome sequence. It's really good. So let's talk about thank you pages really quick, because I think this is a very underutilized tool. I've got some content on this in my playlist on Kajabi on YouTube. But when it comes to your content and your lead magnets, there is a page that happens when somebody gets your lead magnets. They watch your content and they go and they subscribe to you. They put in their name, their email to get their lead magnet. The very next page that they see is a thank you page. And the standard thank you page is just a Kajabi landing page that just says, thank you, your bonus or your guide or whatever is, check your inbox for your free special thing. And that's great. It's fine, but it misses a amazing opportunity. And that is every single person who downloads your lead magnet, 100% of them see that thank you page. 100%. Like that is a conversion rate of 100%. Like in terms of getting from page 1 to page 2, 100% are going to see it. So why not utilize that thank you page for something beyond just saying thank you? So what I do over at Preaching Donkey is when somebody downloads my lead magnet, the very first thing they see on that thank you page is a video of me. And I go, hey, the text above the video just says, your free guide is on its way to your inbox right now. But right now, watch this special video. And it's just me. And I say, hey, thank you so much for downloading the 21-day guide to creating killer sermons. It is on its way to your email inbox right now, as if it takes like 15 minutes. It's instant, but I just want them for a second. So I say, it's on its way to your inbox. So just while it's on its way, I want to tell you about something that I want to offer you. And I just talk about my course. And I say, I have put together this amazing end-to-end complete system for creating and delivering life-changing messages. It's called Killer Sermons Academy. You can check it out below. Just click below. And it just takes them to my sales page for that course. I've done things in the past where I offer a discount code, things like that. And that's the same course. That's the first course they're going to be promoted to in my funnels. They're going to hear about that in about 3 days. But I want them right then to have an opportunity to purchase with me, because there are people who are going to find you because of your content, right? And they're gonna love you right off the bat. They're gonna know you, like you, trust you. You're gonna be helping them, so they're gonna go, I like this person. They're gonna realize that you have a lead magnet, you have some kind of cool bonus guide thing that they find compelling and is going to deliver a quick win. So they download it. They put in their name, they put in their email, and now they're on this page where you're talking about this course that is going to organize all this information, and you can just purchase it right then. And there is a percentage of people who right then and there are going to go, yes, purchase, buy now. And you might as well grab those people, because if they don't, they're going to get it in the funnel. It's fine. But you might as well grab those people right there. Chocolate Twist Yoga says, question. Let me show it here. What is the best genuine way to circle back to subscribers who share their goals and frustrations? This is a great question. So what I do is I have a Google plugin called Loom. And Loom is a instant video sharing like little app. So it's not like Zoom. Okay, it's Loom. Loom is where you can literally hit a button and it just records you. And you can record yourself and you can record your screen. You tell it what to record and it just records. And what I do is I reply to their email with a video. So I get on there and I say, hey, if it was you, I'd say, hey, Chocolate. I think your name is Nicole. So I wouldn't say Chocolate Twist Yoga. I would say Nicole. So, hey, Nicole, thank you so much. Really appreciate you emailing me back. And I'll read the email right in front of them. So this doesn't take much time. Reading an email and responding to it takes time. What I do is I just take that same amount of time and I do it all on video. So I don't even really read the email yet. I literally click to start recording and I go, hey, Nicole, thank you so much. Let's see what you said. So you're frustrated with trying to create a lead magnet. Yeah. You know what? I've got a really good playlist. I'm going to link to it in this video, or I might, if I'm trying to save time, I might just tell them where to go to get it. It's on my YouTube channel. Click on videos, click on playlist, and you'll see it right there. It's about landing pages. It'll teach you how to do that. I know I've been frustrated with that too. It's hard to get it right, but once you do, you're going to be great. And then your desires and goals. You want to get to $1,000 a month. Awesome. Yes. That's actually easier to do than you think. I'm here to help. I might attach a playlist, or I might just give them some encouragement or tell them a little bit about my story, but I'll do it very quick. And then I'll just say, hey, I'm here. If you ever need anything, let me know. And then I'll stop the recording and it inserts it immediately into the email and I hit send. and that's it. And I move on. And it doesn't take me any more time than it would to actually write out a response. And it feels very personal. It's like it's a personal touch. So that's what I do. And it feels, and the people who get those, they respond appreciatively. They write back and they go, wow, this is really cool. Thank you. It just seems like it's got a nice touch to it. Let's go some more questions. Tamara, what is the best way to pre-sell your course if it isn't ready yet? Great question. Pre-selling. So what I have never pre-sold, just because, at least a course. I've pre-sold other things, but in terms of a course, like, I am going to sell it better when I have finished it and I'm completely done with it, so I know exactly what the value is and how to talk about it and how to sell it. That being said, I do, if it's before I've built the course, I do a waiting list. So I might have a waiting list for people, so that I let them know immediately when it's available, and I keep them on, in the know, and that can be really helpful. But what I do, and I'm going to talk about this later, in our time together. We only have 1 hour left, so we got to get going. But this has been really good. But what I do is I do pre-launch. I do a pre-launch, work, like a pre-launch set of content and emails, to get them ready for the course. But I don't pre-sell it. I only sell it when it's ready to go. Hope that helps. There is some really good advice out there about pre-selling, and it might be something I experiment with at some point. Let's see. Chocolate Twist Yoga. How would the thank you page be different for a 7-day journey, since the lead magnet isn't immediate? Would it be premature to offer the membership at that time? What you could do is you could say something like, day one of, or whatever you do. Like, if it's you get an immediate email that's like day 0, and the 7-day journey starts the next day, something like that. You could say something like, day 1 of your journey is on its way to your inbox. In terms of, if the 7-day journey leads to the membership, and the question is, would it be premature? It might be. You can determine that. I would say that there's something called lead decay. And that is that the longer someone is on your list, the less impressed they are with you, and the less likely they are to buy from you over time. So people are the most excited and motivated about you and your online business and what you're offering right when they sign up. It's kind of like, if you think about dating, right? When you first meet someone, and you hit it off, you go on a few dates, and you're really liking each other, there's a period of time, this kind of infatuation that happens, where that person just can do no wrong. They're just amazing, right? But that fades over time. That only lasts about 18 months, at the most. It can last longer if you have something wrong with your brain, but it's chemical. It's a chemical thing. I think that when it comes to leads, when they first find you, they're watching a bunch of they might watch 15 of your videos before they ever download your lead magnets. When they do, they just feel like, wow, I'm so connected to this person. So if there's a way that you would feel comfortable offering the membership on the thank you page, that wouldn't take anything away from what the 7-day journey is going to do for them, I still say it's worth it, because you're really catching both sides. If, let's say that you do the 7-day journey, but they drop off on day 3, and they don't open the rest of the emails, then you miss that potential buyer. If you can get them right away and get them in your membership right away, then you don't miss them. So I kind of still like having both, but it's something to think about. And it's definitely, at the end of the day, it's your business. So if you have to do, everybody has to do what you feel is the right thing. So these are just kind of general principles. Question, what is the best way to pre-sell your course if it isn't quite ready yet? Okay. Yeah, I answered that. Lead decay. Yeah. Longer someone is on your list, the less interested they become in your offer. Yep. And by the way, hopefully that's not as discouraging as it might sound, because there are going to be people who are called super fans. Pat Flynn wrote a really good book called Super Fans. And those are the people who love you so much. You've made such an impact on their life. You've gotten them results. They just like you. They like your content. They're for you. They want to see you win. Those are the people who are not going to decay. Those are the people that are going to get on your list. They're going to love what you're doing. If you've got something to sell, they're going to buy it because you've proven yourself to them and they're exactly who you're going after. Those are called super fans. And that's awesome. But for most people, if they're on there for a few years, they'll see an email. Oh yeah, okay, they're selling another thing, and it's not going to make that big of a difference to them. So, so that's why I say the quicker you can make sure that these people know you have something that's valuable and that's good, the better. So Nicole says, yeah, you're right. The first time I did the 7-day journey, people started dropping off before the offer was made. Something to rework in my sequence. Thanks. Yeah. You know what? It might be something where I would say maybe after like day 2, you could go ahead and offer it, knowing that you're still going to offer days 3 through 7. But, day 1 journey, day 2 journey, and then day 3, you could have like kind of a parallel launch sequence with the 7-day journey. So you're still doing the 7 days and they're being sold on the membership at the same time concurrently. That could possibly be another way to do it. So let's see. Bridget says, would it work to announce a waiting list on the lead magnet thank you page? Maybe a founding member discount. Absolutely. I think that would be a great approach to take. Yeah. Get on there and say, hey, this course is coming out. You'll be the first to know. And as one of my first members, founding members, you will be able to get, you'll be able to get this at a discount. I think that's an awesome way to do it. Let's see. Callie, by the way, pre-Callie. Okay, cool. All right. So we have our surprise guest who is coming on. This is my good friend, Allie. Allie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing so well. So Allie is the director of brand experience. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Director of brand experience over at Kajabi. So we have a very active group today. We have gone through some really fun stuff. We've got somebody who teaches yoga. We've got someone who teaches, we got marketers. We've got people who are doing, helping people with their small businesses. We have people who are helping people sell handcrafted items. People, confidence coach, very active crew. And so we've talked about a lot of things about how to build a business in 60 days, what the process is. We've talked about content, lead magnets, welcome sequences, offers. We've talked about determining your niche, all of those things. And of course, we've talked about the 60-day free trial or the 2-month trial of Kajabi right now through my link. So can you tell us a little bit about, first of all, just the offer that Kajabi is doing right now that's only available today?
Yeah, super excited. So in order to celebrate this fantastic, like how serendipitous is it that 2/22/22 falls on a Tuesday? Like that is just so cool to me. So our team was just dreaming up what could it look like to celebrate this kind of quirky, fun day and give an extended free trial of Kajabi. So if you're familiar with Kajabi, our typical trial offer is actually 14 days. And then special for our partners, we do offer a 30-day trial. And we were thinking up like, what would be the most impactful? We've done campaigns that have had, additional content. We just closed this idea to income challenge that we had. And that's super successful in terms of getting our customers to success. And so our thought was, what's like another offer that can kind of help people in their journey on Kajabi? And to us, it was a no-brainer. It's more time. Every time people join Kajabi, they say, I wish I had more time to get my feet on the ground, figure out my bearings, and then launch my business. And so we thought doubling our our longest free trial offer, which is that 30 days to 60 days, would be just the time back that people need in order to feel confident on the platform, in order to start making a return on their investment on the platform, and really feel like they are setting their business up for success in 2022. And so that's a little bit of like the internal conversations we had around this offer. And we're super excited because 60 days is 2 full months. And I've been with Kajabi for 5 years, and I don't think we've ever done longer than a 45-day free trial. So this is truly like a very special day. And it just feels like a really great opportunity that if you're thinking about your business, or you're thinking about consolidating the tools in your business, or you're thinking about expanding your business, that this gives you a no-brainer way to kind of jump in, have 2 months to test out the platform. And I always say the disclaimer that Kajabi is a lot of software, right? We are an all-in-one business solution. So there's lots and lots and lots of things to learn when you dive in. And no one, not even our chief technological officer, understood Kajabi when they first started, right? Everyone has a learning curve. Everyone has to understand it, has to dive in, get their hands dirty with the tool, and really learn the process. And so I always like to just throw that out there, that like, don't feel overwhelmed, because you have 60 days to really learn the fundamentals and foundations of how to build your business from the software point of view. You have someone like Lane, who's an amazing educator, an amazing businessman, and he can teach you the strategies on how to do that. And so those two combinations will just totally set you up for success. And then the awesome thing too that Kajabi offers is after your 60-day free trial, you'll obviously become a paying customer. And after your first payment, you actually have 30 days of a money back guarantee. So if you hit that day 61, you swipe your credit card, you're all in. And then for some reason, 25 days later, 29 days later, you decide, oh, I don't think this is the right time for me, or this isn't the right platform for me. You do get a money back guarantee. And so that's for 30 days after your free trial. So technically you have 90 days to basically figure out if Kajabi is right for you, launch your business, and see a return on investment. And just to throw some encouragement out there too, I've talked to so many customers in the past who actually have been on 14-day free trials, and they launch their product and they earn more money than they're paying Kajabi in that 14 days. And they say, oh my gosh, like I had one customer say, I almost feel guilty. Like I feel like I owe Kajabi more because I've made so much money in my free trial period. And I'm like, no, that's the point. Like that's incredible. And that shows that she started at the right time, in the right moment. She had her business prepared. She knew what she was doing, and she jumped in and made it possible. And so if she can do it in 14 days, I absolutely know you can do it in 60 days. So it's a little bit of a background. Did that answer your question? I kind of went all over the place.
No, that's excellent. And by the way, if anybody has questions while Allie's on here, she'll be on here for a few minutes. Please ask in the comments. So Allie, like, what have you seen? Because what you said about Kajabi being all-in-one software, so it is daunting. But the cool thing is you're paying so much less for so much more. So it's a lot, but you don't pay nearly as much as if you had these all in different places, and it's not nearly as complicated. But it is a learning curve.
Yeah.
So with that, like, what have you seen that people can do when they first jump onto Kajabi to get successful the fastest? Like, what works?
Great question. Great question. So I'll give some high level, and then I'll give some really, really tactical. So high level is, I always encourage people, start with what is going to make your business successful. And I think probably 99% of people in business define success as making money, right? So what is the first thing that's going to make you money? Is building a website going to make you money? Maybe in your business it does. Is sending out emails going to make you money? Maybe in your business it does. Is building your product going to make you money? I'd probably bank on that one for most people.
Yeah.
So I would honestly encourage you to think about your product. So in Kajabi, a product is defined as an online course, a membership site, a podcast, a coaching like package. What else? I think that's it. A mini course, any type of digital thing that you're going to use to sell your knowledge and teach what you know, right? So I would encourage you to build your product first, And when I say build your product, there's a couple different avenues you can go for that. You can fully build out this beautiful online course that's ready to go. And maybe you already have your idea validated and you know your audience and you know what you're going to build. Or that might simply just mean setting up your product inside of Kajabi, locking all of the modules in your online course and just doing the first module and kind of like slowly dripping it out as your customers come in, and building the product with them. So there's a lot of different options. Don't feel like when I say build your product, that means like go out and shoot, 100 videos and have them all ready. But I just mean that I would focus my energy and my efforts on what is going to make me money. And my product is the thing that I'm actually selling. So that's high level. I would encourage people to do that. The second thing is I would encourage you to create an offer. So an offer inside of Kajabi is just a checkout page. It's how people actually are going to pay for that product that you build. And those two things together, a product and an offer, that's how you can start making money. If you have an audience on social media, if you have an email list, if you have your friends and family, even if you're like, I don't have any of that stuff, if you have a product and you have an offer, you have a place and a destination that you can send them to start getting customers in the door, start learning and refining your process, and then start to move out into Kajabi, into all the other areas like website building and, email marketing and lead generation and all of these things. So that's just genuinely where I would recommend you start. And then the really, really, really tactical thing that I encourage everyone to do when they start their Kajabi account is it kind of like, it's funny how I think when we start building our businesses, we get so like in the dream phase that we forget about like the little stuff, right? And so the little thing that I think you should do when you first join Kajabi is connect a payment processor.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, you have to connect a payment processor, and a payment processor is like Stripe or PayPal. It's like actually how you're processing payments. If you want to make money, you need a payment processor. If you want a checkout page, you need a payment processor. And inside Kajabi, that's a very black and white thing to do, right? It's not like this, like, go build your product and build it however you want. And like, that's up to you. Connecting a payment processor, there's like a checklist. Like it's like, go to Stripe, create an account, hook up your bank, connect it to Kajabi, and then you're done. And so one, it will give you that satisfaction of like, yes, I did something in my business today. I checked off all the boxes, and it will guarantee that when you launch your product, you'll actually get paid. So I always just encourage people, like, that's a great first thing to have on your, like, maybe your first week radar of joining Kajabi is hook up your payment processor. Again, it feels very simple, but I think you'll be surprised at how many people don't think about that.
Yeah, that's huge. And the payment processors are fully integrated with Kajabi. You can select PayPal, Stripe, or both. You don't have to like sign up separately. They're right there, very easy to do under your settings tab.
Yeah. It's all in-house for you. Kajabi gives you a checklist to do, which is great.
Handcrafted Income said Kajabi is the first platform that I haven't yelled at when building my website and landing pages. It is so intuitive and does what I want it to do. I love it so far. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. We're actually having an all company meeting later today, and I'm sharing some Kajabi hero. We call our customers our Kajabi heroes. I'm sharing some of their stories. So I will make sure to share that little tidbit as well. That's super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like that.
Well, this is so cool. So when you are helping people who are trying to get that first product built,
Mm-hmm.
I think some people have it can be very daunting. Like, how big is the course? How much is it going to take to build it? How large is it going to be? This and that. Have you seen, or what have you seen to work the fastest when it comes to building that first product?
Yeah. So one of my favorite stories is I had a customer tell me that she was starting out in her business. I think she was transitioning online. She had like an in-person, I think it was yoga studio. In the pandemic, she had to transition all online. She had never done online before. She was super scared, intimidated, didn't know how to run an online course. And what she ended up doing was, which I think is a really smart tactic and something that a lot of people in the industry teach, is she started generating interest through her, email list, through her socials, through her friends and family, and started saying, hey, I'm building this course, like opt in here if you're interested. Created that lead magnet or lead generation page where she was just collecting emails. And then what she did was she actually filmed her first module. She kind of had an understanding of what she wanted to do for her course. And I think she labeled it as a mini course. So it wasn't like this huge master course. It was just something small, tangible that she could do. She knew what she wanted to do for her first video. She filmed it on a Monday. She released it to anyone who wanted to join, I think for free, and sent an email out and said, hey, watch this video for free. Tell me what your feedback is. Tell me if you like it. People gave her a ton of feedback. So during the week, she gathered all the feedback. On Sunday, she re-recorded a new video, a second module, or I shouldn't say re-recorded. She recorded a new module, released it on Monday, and just did that same flow for like 5 weeks. Right. And just gathered feedback, gathered interest, and just like over delivered to people because, again, I believe it was free and it was just out of who wants to like participate in my beta course.
Yeah.
And so there was no pressure because she knew exactly what she needed to do every week. She needed to film one module and she would take the feedback from what people wanted to know, what people wanted to learn, because your customers will tell you, they'll tell you exactly what they want. And she just baked that into the next course. And so then by the end of that 5 weeks, she has a 5-module course that's fully built out based on customer feedback. And then she was prepared to launch. And if I'm recalling properly, I believe that customer made $30,000 in her first launch of that beta course after that beta round. So that's pretty exciting. And I think, again, it goes back to that whole like checklist idea of connecting your payment processor. It's just a very black and white thing, right? Your subject matter. Your customers, you have a relationship with your customers or your students or, your social media following, or again, even your friends and family, they will help you and offer up this type of information or this type of feedback to you. And your subject and your craft very well. And can you just film one video and put it out there and gather feedback and say, hey, what else would you want to know about this topic? And then people will tell you. So I think it's just a really easy way to get started.
Oh yeah. And that takes the pressure off. Like if I'm only doing one thing at a time and I'm getting that kind of feedback and I can make it in real time, and then make 30K. If you would love to make $30,000 from your first launch, just put a yes in the comments.
I
would. Yes, me too. Bridget said, I'm starting to build an audience. Does it still make sense to start with building a product or a waiting list for a product?
Great question. I honestly, let me go back a second and say that there are the beautiful and also the scary thing about Kajabi is that there is literally no right way to do it. I think that there's a way that I've heard like, no, build your product first. No, build your email list first. No, build your website first. No, do this first. And I think it depends on who your customers are and what you're looking to do. Like, what is your metric for success in your business? If you say, okay, Allie, I'll join the 60-day free trial, but in my 60-day free trial, I need to make money. I have to make a return on investment because I can't put anything else in.
Right.
Then I would say building your product is probably in an offer checkout, and just releasing that to the people who you have on your community right now is probably more important than building an email list right this second, even though I know the value of an email list. But maybe you're like, oh, well, people are chomping at the bit and I want to drum up excitement. So maybe that's your first step in Kajabi. But yeah, Elaine, I don't know if you have opinions around that. I just think there's no one size fits all. You just have to think about what you want in your business.
Oh, I fully agree. I think like, and this is, we talked a little bit about whether pre-sell or not. And one of the things I mentioned is like, I've never pre-sold for an online course, but I've seen people do it really well and be successful. So, at the end of the day, it's your business. There's a few guiding principles that make sense and really work. But beyond that, like if the pieces are in place, this is what I try to tell people. The pieces are in place and you're working the plan. Like there's some things that there's no point in reinventing it. Like if you're doing a knowledge business, content is your best friend. If you can reach people with content, prove yourself, prove your expertise, prove your authority in that space, that's only going to help you. And then if you can focus that content so that it's not a dead end, it's leading to your email list. We talked about earlier in this call, we talked about dead ends versus bridges. A lot of people's content is a dead end. It leads to nowhere. It's just, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. That's a dead end. A bridge is like, hey, let's download my free guide, go to the next video, whatever. It's a bridge. Those are the principles. But beyond that, like how you structure your products. I mean, I thought like on this brand, Lane Sebring, I thought for a long time that my first product was going to be an online course. Turns out it's actually a group coaching, group mastermind program that's starting on Thursday. And it's a small group that was application only. And I'm building out, I mean, what it's going to end up being. And I've got people on this call that are in that. But that is going to be the content for my first course that will probably release later this year. But instead of just building the course, I want to coach a group of people through this same content, very high touch, very focused, help them get results. And then I'll still offer that product, but I'll also have a course. So I kind of went backwards from what I even thought I was going to do.
Yeah.
And and it's so far it's working, but the beauty of this is like, if it doesn't work, you just change it. You just do something different,
Totally. I think I like what you said about the bridge thing. And I think for this question of like, do I, drum up excitement with my email list, or do I, just go for the product? Like, also you could do both, right? Like if making a return is on your investment in Kajabi is the most important thing right now, but also building your email list is secondarily as important, then maybe it's like, hey, I'm offering, my beta course, like you'll go through the beta round of my course and I'm only letting 20 people in this, cohort join now. And that's actually how you get that ROI. Like you could do the math. How many customers do you need to make it worth your while? And then the rest of the people in your community, you just have a simple opt-in that says, hey, we're closed for now, but if you want to be a part of this, jump into this opt-in here and I'll let you know when I open doors again. And that gives you, again, a really black and white, like I only need 10 customers to make this return on investment. I'm also going to be building my email list because people are going to be excited. They're going to have that FOMO. They're going to want to jump in. And now I already have people chomping at the bit for the next time that I launch this, when I'll have all of the learnings from the beta course and feedback all delivered right there in my course. So I think get creative. Think about, again, what do you want? Do you want to build your list? Do you want a return on investment? Do you want to do both? What's your timeline? How many customers do you need? Start asking yourself those questions. And I think the strategy will kind of like refine itself.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen people do, Graham Cochran, he does on his waiting list, he offers bonuses for signing up to the waiting list. It's like, it's not open right now, but if you sign up here, you get $100 worth of bonuses and things like that.
That's awesome.
Zelda O'Connor says 60-day free trial is amazing, just the kick in the pants that I needed. I'm signing up today. Thanks, Lane. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So glad to have you. That's so fun. And I cannot wait. So one of the things that I announced today is that I am releasing a brand new course for people who sign up for my link. And it is just a course that will help them get started on Kajabi. And it's available to anyone who signs up using my link, and anyone who has signed up using my link, and anyone on this call. So there's a few people who didn't use my link because they just didn't know about me, but I'm giving it to them. All they have to do is email me. But I'm really excited because I've got the free course now. I've got the 45-minute call with me. I've got the launch template. And today, the 60-day trial. So this is like, if you're going to do Kajabi and you can hear my voice right now, I don't know what else I have to say, but today is literally the day, because tomorrow it's going to be half the free trial. Everything else is still there, but tomorrow is half the free trial. So that's what we're saying.
It's true. It's so true. And like, just to give you guys a glimpse too, if you're like still on the edge of like, okay, like all the support from Lane is going to be awesome, but like how does Kajabi support me in my journey? We have so many resources. I said this earlier, but we call our customers our Kajabi heroes. That's like actually one of our first core value as a company is we are fanatical about our customer success. And that is not just a marketing slogan. That is literally like to the core who we are. That's conversations I have all day long in our internal meetings. Is like, what is going to benefit our customers and how do we solve for that? And so in saying that, we have so many options available for support as you start to build your business on Kajabi. So we have live chat support, which I believe on our growth plan and above is 24/7. So literally any time of day that you have a question in Kajabi, you can just chat an agent. They're amazing. We have email support. We also offer a free, for every Kajabi customer, once you activate your account, you get what's called an activation call. And that's a free 45-minute call one-on-one with a customer success manager who will share their screen. They'll walk through Kajabi. It's literally like your time. You come prepared with any questions you have about the platform or about strategy or about anything, and they will share their screen, walk you through, answer all the questions. And again, that's completely free to you, just included in your package once you become a paying Kajabi customer. So there's that. We have weekly webinars, which literally I think it's up to 2 webinars a day, Monday through Friday, every single week. They're live webinars too. They are incredible. They're on a host of different topics. So we have you can join for FAQ webinars, you can join for marketing webinars, you can join for, specifically how do I do this thing in the product? There's product focused webinars. So that's available to you as a Kajabi customer. We also have what's called Kajabi University, which is a whole suite of Kajabi courses. I think there's I want to say there's more than 40 courses in there. It's a lot. There's a lot of courses, and they range, again, everywhere from courses around the product to marketing training courses where we're teaching you how to do Facebook ads. And there's lots of amazing resources in there. So that's called Kajabi University, 100% free for you when you become a Kajabi customer. And then the last thing is we have our official Kajabi Facebook group, which is for Kajabi customers. And it is, I think there's 31,000 people in there, which is incredible. And they're all Kajabi customers, and they are, it's a community of entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, really. Kajabi is just there to facilitate the virtual 4 walls, and the customers are what make it the amazing culture that it is. And so that Facebook group is free when you join Kajabi, and there is so much good information in there. It's been around for, longer than I've even been at Kajabi. So I want to say 6 or 7 years. So if you could search anything in that Facebook group, you'll find it. If you just type in a phrase, you'll find a post at some point from some Kajabi customer about that thing, and people are jumping in and helping. You can, find and connect with people who will help you build out your sites. You can ask strategic questions, product questions. You can celebrate your wins. People celebrate, oh, hey, I made 100K this year on Kajabi. They'll send pictures. It's just an awesome community. So all of those things, live chat, email support, your free activation call, Kajabi University, the webinars, and our Facebook group are all ways that Kajabi wants to support you in your 60-day free trial and beyond as a customer.
Love it. Love it. And Kajabi also sends you some cool swag every time you hit a different number of revenue. So when you hit $1,000, I think 25,000 or 10,000, 25, 50, 100 million.
Yeah, all the way up to $1 million. We send big, clunky, old fashioned. You get a package in the mail. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And you get Kajabi swag for free because, we really that's another example of we don't just talk about our customer success being the most important thing. We action on it because we know that a lot of you, I can't see you right now and I can't see the comments, but I'm sure a lot of you are not a lot of people in my life know what I do for a living.
Right. Yep.
People are you do an online course, or do you teach at a university? I've heard that one before. It's very funny. And so we just want to take a moment, when you hit these milestones, when you make your first $1,000 online, that is a big deal. I've never made $1,000 online. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And so we like to take a moment to stop, to send you this package to celebrate, and to remind you that this is a huge milestone, and to continue to encourage you to build the business of your dreams and continue all the way up to $1 million. So yeah, that is a fun thing that we get to do.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And it's, because entrepreneurship can be very lonely. And I feel like Kajabi does a lot to go the extra mile to make you feel like you're a part of something in a community, which is great. Do you have time for one last question that somebody asked?
Yeah.
So Zelda, who is going to sign up today, she said, does Kajabi payment processor allow people to pay for a course as a donation of any amount or only a set price?
Oh, that is a great question. I don't think we have a donation feature where you can set, the customer can set a price. But we do have, so the payment processor is Stripe or PayPal. I didn't mention this earlier when I was talking about that. Kajabi does not take a cut of any of your revenue. So you have your traditional payment processing fees, which is through Stripe or PayPal, and I think it's 2% or something. But Kajabi doesn't take anything on top of that. So 100% of what you earn is yours, minus that 2% transaction fee from Stripe. And we don't have a set your own amount, but what we do have is a one-time payment. You can do payment plans. So it's over multiple months. You can do subscription payments. You can also do a free trial. Like let's say you had a subscription, like a membership site, and you wanted to offer people a 14-day free trial to test it out, or a month free trial to test it out. You can do that, and then it will kick them into their subscription. You can also do what we call a setup fee. So maybe it's like, hey, I want to run a promotion where you get your first month for $50, and then the rest of the months after that, my membership is $100 a month. So your setup fee would be $50, and then it would kick into that $100 a month subscription. So those are some of the options inside of Kajabi, but I don't think that we allow a donation. But I can also look into that because I want to make sure I'm not quoting it wrong. We improve all the time. Like our product is always changing. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was on the roadmap or if that was something that has been brought up before. So I'll double check and I'll circle back with Lane, and he can circle back with you as well. But at this time, I don't believe we allow for you to donate.
Yeah, but I think the cool thing is there's a lot of different ways, like you said, to organize how people pay you and what they pay you. It can pretty much fit with just about any type of way that you want to do it. Allie, thank you so much for coming on today. This was really helpful. If you're fired up about Kajabi and all the work that Allie and her team is doing, just put a big yes in the comments. There's a delay, so the yeses won't show up until you're probably off. But really appreciate you jumping on. And yeah, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, just thank you so much for having me. I just always like to say this encouragement that you guys are in great hands with Lane. I mean, he's literally, I can see the little timer on the top. He's been live for 2 hours and 44 minutes. Like that's incredible. And I know that you're like going for all day, or you're in such good hands, not only with the strategic side. Like Lane has built a really, really successful business on Kajabi and has been able to thrive in that and has, all the strategies and tips and tricks. But you're also just a really good human being who's like going to care for you and like care about your business. And I think that's the heart of Kajabi. Is it's not just about like what you do to get to success, but it's about the community that you're building, and it's about the impact that you're having. And so I'm excited for you guys. 60-day trial today only, literally, like it is closing tonight. It's 2/22. That's it. And we're really excited for you to jump in. And again, so excited for Lane to usher you into this new year of business. And hopefully we are sending you those clunky Kajabi Hero packages as you hit your 1,000 and beyond. So thank you so much for having me, Lane.
Yay, thank you. And we got a bunch of yeses, and thanks for the great info. And thank you, Allie. So very excited about that. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya. All right. So we are going to continue. That was fun. Let's jump into building your first course. So we've been going at this for a while. Who's still with me? Who is with me? And I want to mention this. Let's see. I was a little distracted when I was reading this comment from Chocolate Twist Yoga, but she said it's pronounced Kali. So wanted to just say sorry about mispronouncing it there. And we are going to continue going. And Zelda, I just now saw your question about PayPal. It does have a donation option. So there might be a way to make it happen within Kajabi if you're using PayPal. But again, I'll look into that. And you can see how it all works. So yeah, we got a still here. We got still here. Very cool. Handcrafted income still here. Zan the man. All right. So now we're getting into the kind of nitty gritty. Like once we cut out the clutter, we've determined our niche, we've mastered the plan, we've got that good sequencing of content to our lead magnet, to our welcome sequence. Now it's time for the actual offer. So if we're going to build a course that is exactly what our customers need and exactly when they need it, there's a few things that we want to do. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take all of those emails where we're asking, what are you struggling with? And what are your desires and goals? What are you struggling with? What are your desires and goals? We're going to take those questions and we're going to ask, we're going to gather that data. And that's really going to help us see because all of us as online business owners, content creators, we all have in mind like what we want to do. Like I want to build a course about X or Y. And we have that kind of idea in our mind. And it's really good to know if the idea we have in our mind for our course matches up with where people are and what they need now, like what they're going through and what they need right now. So the reason why we take those questions, what are you struggling with and what are your goals, is because we really want to communicate that that we, like in the sales copy for the course and how we talk about the course and how we build the course, we want to really, really scratch where they are itching, right? We don't want to be off in left field where they're going, yeah, that's not really what we need, because the course is not going to sell. It's not going to do any good. I mean, why? Nobody wants to spend months or weeks making a course that nobody buys, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, once we've got that information, we want to think about our course in terms of escape and arrival. So if you think about it on a continuum, like what are you helping people escape from and what are you helping them arrive to? What are you helping them escape from and what are you helping them arrive to? So if you're helping them escape something, like in my business, it might be something like this. I'm helping people who are stuck in their online business or they don't have an online business yet, and they're really trying to determine, what is this going to be about? What am I going to focus on? Am I going to build a course? If I do build a course, what's it going to be about? How do I make sense of all this? Then there's all the tech. How do I figure all that stuff out? Maybe they're pretty frustrated because they've tried some things and it hasn't worked, or there's nothing that really resonates with them and their personality in a way that seems authentic to them. So they're frustrated. That's where they're stuck. That's what I'm helping them escape from. And then what I'm helping them arrive to is this place where they have a plan, a proven process that they believe in and they can do it. It's simple enough where they can follow it. It's authentic and it gets them success. It gets them results. So at the end of that, where they've arrived to, I want it to be they've got a business, they've got courses, they've got customers. They are just living their best life now. And they're doing that as a result of my content in that course. So where are they escaping? What are they escaping from? What are they arriving to? Now, within that escape arrival paradigm, there are milestones, right? Milestones along the way that we have to hit. Okay. So there has to be, like, to get to the first milestone, what do I got? What do they got to know to get there? What do they have to know to get to the next one? What do they have to know when they get to the next one? What do they have to know when they get to the next one? So those milestones actually become like modules in the course. So if I've determined this escape arrival paradigm, the milestones are going to be my modules. And then within those modules, within those milestones, there's another escape arrival paradigm where I'm helping people get the next step. And within that, there's milestones. So that sounds complicated. Just know that it's really not. If you map this out on paper, you can literally just take a piece of paper and draw a line on your piece of paper like that. Put escape over here and put arrival over there. That's the first step. Then identify the milestones. Okay, let's say in this case there are 4, right? 4 milestones. Within that, there's going to be another line within each one of those where they're escaping something and arriving to something else, and draw the milestones in that, right? What do they have to know? And you keep breaking this down, and these, by the way, become lessons. Okay, these are lessons in your course. These are modules. And I hope that makes sense, but like, your course becomes something that you can very easily outline when you do it this way, because it's just simply a continuum. It's a line that you're taking people on. So in your niche, when they've identified for you what they're trying to what their goals are, you know where they're trying to arrive. And when they've identified for you where they're stuck, they've told you where they're stuck. You know where they're stuck. So all your course is going to do is take them from that place of being stuck to the place of their desires, where their goal is. And so to get there, there's milestones to get there along the way. So building it out on Kajabi. So let's talk about this. So once you have this paradigm built, where you are taking them through this very specific journey, going from where they're stuck to where they want to get, where they want to be. you want to think about how do you put this together in a package deal? And this is where you're going to take it to Kajabi, which is what I recommend. And you can do this on other platforms, but Kajabi just makes it so easy. But you take it to Kajabi. If it's a big, complicated course like that, like what I laid out for you is really like a flagship where you're escaping and arriving to something really big, and within that, there's lots of milestones. If it's a mini course, this is the way that I like to determine it. So this right here, all of this would be like a flagship course. If you're just teaching this one part of it, that's like a mini course, right? A little mini escape to mini arrival, little mini milestones. That might be a 6 or 7 lesson mini course. So I recommend if you're just starting out with your first course, a mini course is the easiest, most attainable thing. 5 to 7 lessons, really specific, helps people solve one specific problem. Okay. So you get on Kajabi, you put it on there. In terms of building out your course, the nitty-gritty of it, my suggestion is to go to my YouTube channel, this channel, Lane Sebring, go to videos and look for any of the playlists. I got a few playlists on building your course, launching your course, putting your course in your email sequence. Go there and watch those videos because it's going to show you exactly how to build the course. But there's a few things that I think are worth mentioning here. And if you have questions, please enter them in the chat. The first thing is, I think that slides are really, really helpful along with your videos. So the question that I often get is people will ask, okay, I do YouTube. How is my course content going to be different than just my YouTube content, my regular content? How can I make it more valuable? And there's a few different ways that it's more valuable. Some of it has to do with that continuum we just talked about, that it's a complete end-to-end system. You're not just teaching content, you're teaching results. You're getting people results from A to Z. The other way that it's more valuable is the access to you is somewhat heightened because it's a paid product. On Kajabi, they can comment on courses and you can interact with them there. But the main way that I feel like it's different is that, or the one of the ways that it's different, in addition to everything else I mentioned, is that the learning experience is more in depth. So it's not just the video, but maybe it's the video with slides. So there's visuals. Maybe it's the video, slides, and it's downloadable worksheets. Maybe a workbook that's downloadable PDF. Those are the things that can really up the value. So when you put all that into Kajabi, you can get this stuff ready to go, get your course ready to go, the descriptions, the all that stuff, the technical stuff, I've got all for you in the playlist that I provided. But building your first course, more importantly than the technical aspects of it or the mechanics of it, it's what you're teaching and why. And that's why you want to go back to those questions about what are you struggling with, where are you trying to go, map out how your course is going to get people where they want to go, map out that all out on paper, and then build out the lessons with this in mind. With each lesson, you want to be asking the question, and when you're preparing, where are people now and where is this lesson going to take them? It's always a journey. You're taking people on a journey. So the lesson cannot be just, here's some information that's helpful or here's something you need to know. It might be that, but it also has to be, here's the journey that I'm taking you on and here's why it matters. So that's what I would say about building. We're going to talk about launching your course because launching your first course is number 5. But I would say the biggest place that a lot of people struggle is just with the build out of the course, because it can seem daunting and it can seem more complicated than it needs to be. If you look at it as escape and arrival and the milestones, it gets much, much simpler. So let's see, Mr. Pina's tutoring. Should you LLC before Kajabi or after? Really, when you LLC, I would say that just matters like when you start making a substantial amount of money. So as soon as your business begins to actually produce some income for you, you might as well go ahead and do the single member LLC designation. This is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. So I'm not giving you legal advice. Go talk to an accountant or a CPA. Or an attorney for that. But I can tell you what I did. I set up a single member LLC to run my business through, and it works just fine. Okay. So any questions about building your first course, let me know in the comments and I will answer them. But let's move on to the fifth and final step. So the first thing we did 3 hours ago when we started was cut out the clutter. Then we determined our niche. We talked about who our target audience is going to be. Then we looked at how to master the plan, what the plan was. There's a 4-part plan to making income online. Then we talked about building our first course. We just looked at that. And now we are going to talk about launching our first course. Now, this is where it gets really exciting because we're actually going to start making some money, right? Because we've done all this work to lead up to it. So we're going to jump into this. Brian Fleming is on here. He's got 2 thumbs up and a muscle arm. So we're ready to go. This is going to be great. So here is how we do it. The first thing you have to do is there has to be some pre-launch material that leads up to the launch of your course. What you don't want to do is go alone in a room, build a course, and then come out and be like, hey, everybody, I have a course, because most likely they're not going to be ready for it. They're not going to understand the value of it, and they're not going to buy. What you want to do is the content that you're doing, your YouTube videos, your podcast, all that, the content that you have that leads up to the launch of your course needs to be content that helps people with the same thing that your course is going to help them with. What you're doing is you're warming them up to it. You're giving them really good, helpful, free content. And you're doing that leading up to your course, and that's intentional. Now, the week before your course comes out, you want to do pre-launch material. There's a really good book by Jeff Walker, called Launch, where he talks about this. And I'm going to give my very, very simplified version of it. But if you want the real deal, go read his book. What I do is I like to have 3 pieces of content come out that are specific to the thing that I'm launching the week before I launch it. So let's say that I'm going to launch a course over at Preaching Donkey, and the course is called Preaching Jumpstart. I did this. It's a beginner course on preaching, a little mini course. Well, I did a 3-day workshop. I pre-recorded 3 workshops. You had to register for them, all done through Kajabi, but it was 3 videos that all built on each other that were geared towards beginner preachers and how to write and deliver messages. And each one of those built on the next until at the end of the 3 days, I was able to say, okay, I have day 1, it was just content. Day 2, it was content plus announcing that, hey, tomorrow I'm going to tell you about something I've built for you. Day 3, more content, but I announce my course, that it's live and it's ready to purchase the next day, tomorrow. And so in those 3 days, that content, I am gathering an audience, I'm serving that audience, I'm warming them up, I'm giving them value, and then I'm saying, hey, if this was good and you liked it, I've got something else for you. My course called Preaching Jumpstart. Simple pre-launch sequence. You can also do this with live webinars. I did this back in, I can't remember what month it was. Might have been September or October. But for my membership site, where I did a live webinar, couple hours, lots of fun. And we opened the membership up for re-enrollment right then and there. And we incentivized people jumping on it right then. And then we did a launch for the week. So pre-launch build-up, pre-launch material is really good. Then we have launch week. Now, launch week is really, you've done all this work to this point. You've built the content out. You've got a great email list that's engaged and wants your stuff. You've built out the course. You've done the pre-launch. The launch week is really just a set of emails that you put together that lead people to your sales page for your course. It's hitting your course from about every possible different angle for about 4 or 5, maybe up to 10 days. You don't want to go too long. You don't want to go too short. 5 days is pretty good. Where every day they're getting an email from you saying, hey, XYZ course is available. Here's what people are saying about it. Here's the problem it solves. Here's some bonuses. Here's the content that's in it. And you're trying to get them to click on that, go to the sales page, read through it, and buy. And you want to get it to them from every possible angle you can, in as many different compelling ways as possible. And the more you launch, the more natural this becomes, and the more you start to see what works, what doesn't, things like that. So those are the things that you can do. Now, I will say, if you go to my YouTube channel, go to videos, go to playlist, there is a playlist on launching your course. It's going to go into a lot more depth about what that email sequence might look like, how to set it up. Go there and check that out. But for our purposes, just know that when you launch your course, for one, you should celebrate, right? You should celebrate on launch week that you did something really difficult. You put something together and you launched it to people. That's amazing. And so you should celebrate that. You should feel good about it. And then after that, you want to assess, how did the sales copy do? How did they respond to the course? Are they going through it? Are they getting results? I like to take the course down in terms of it's not available for purchase anymore. So I get those people in there. I work with them. I see how they're doing, see what they're responding to. I go back and look at what emails led to the most conversions, like which emails got clicked on the most and when did people purchase. I get all that data. Then when I open it up a few months later, I'm able to make the changes that I need to make it an even better product, launch it again. I might do that 3 times over the course of about a year until I get it really where I want to get it. And then that's when I'll take it and stick it back in my evergreen email sequence so that when someone goes through my content, watches my content, downloads my lead magnet, gets in my welcome sequence, they're now provided with a invitation to purchase the course. So that's the kind of cycle that we go through. And then when that's done, you go and see, what do these people need? Again, what's the next course that I can build, or the membership site that I can build? Where are they stuck, and where can I help them reach their goals? So that is it. That's everything. I want to respond to some comments, see where you're at, and we'll be done here in just a few minutes. But if you enjoyed this, you got some value out of it, just throw a yes in the comments. It'll make me feel so good. Also, I want to mention, if you just are joining us right now, today only, you can get a 60-day free trial of Kajabi. Go to lanesebring.com/Kajabi. With that, you get my free course called Kajabi Accelerator. You also get a 45-minute call with me. You also get a 60-day free trial and my course launch email template. I hope Lane creates a monthly membership site for people wanting to start an online business. I'm definitely thinking about that. If that's something that you guys would want, let me know, because I'm definitely thinking about doing that. Handcrafted Income said, yes, thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate you. You're very active on this call. Really appreciate you very much being on here. Loved interacting in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact and the 60-day free trial is no longer available, 30-day free trial is there, and you still get the course and the call with me. So try out Kajabi. It's free. Why not? Yeah, love it. What other questions do you have? I'll hang on for just a little bit, and just to kind of go back through and review. We talked about building your online business in 60 days. I really believe in 60 days you can go from cutting out the clutter to determining the niche. These 2 things should not take you long. To understanding the plan and mastering it, to building out that free course and launching it. You can do this in 60 days, and you can make all the money back that you would spend on that first month of Kajabi, or even the first year if you launch just a few of your courses. Just launch your first course to just a few people. You can do it, and I'm here to help every step of the way. Let's see what else we got. Bridget said, yes, this is one of the most helpful trainings I have watched. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome. That means so much to me. I really appreciate it. I had no idea how many people would be on this call or how engaged they would be. So the fact that you guys have been on here, you've been engaging, really, really means a lot to me. And I appreciate it so much. So thank you all for jumping on. I'll wait just a minute to see if any more comments come through. And if not, we'll be getting off here. But this was great. I really enjoyed meeting you. If we interacted on here and you have further questions, please don't hesitate to email me, lane@lanesebring.com, lane@lanesebring.com. Tamara says, thank you. Thank you as well. You're quite welcome. And thank you for being on here as well. Really appreciated it. When Allie jumped on, I got a break so I could eat some food and drink some water. And that was nice. That was very nice to be able to do that. It was really, really great to be able to take a drink of water, but this was fun. I would not have wanted to do this with anybody else. Let's see. I'm a hypnotist practitioner. I don't have courses, but run a paid group sessions. Does Kajabi offer? Yes. So glad you said that. Yeah. So they have a integration with Calendly. They have a what do you call it? Coaching program on my YouTube channel. I've got a playlist about their coaching program that'll answer some questions there. Actually, there's another guy who is who's a hypnotist practitioner, a gentleman. And so, yeah, I can't remember his name, but he's one of my Kajabi affiliates, and I did a call with him. Let's see. Chocolate Twist Yoga. Hi there. Catch the replay. Had a meeting when Ali joined. Awesome. Great to have you back. Let's see. Are 30 lessons too much for a mini course? So here's my thing about a mini course. The way to determine the difference between a mini course and a flagship course really has to do with how in-depth and complete the training is. So a flagship course is a complete end-to-end system. It's basically just like your system taught in one course. A mini course is really where you just drill down on one part of it. So could a mini course theoretically have 30 lessons? Yeah, theoretically it could. Because if they're all focused on one thing, I would say, especially if they're short lessons, that are a little bit more short, you could do 30 lessons. At some point, it's just a course. You know what I mean? Like whether it's called a mini course or a flagship. I mean, it really doesn't matter to the end user in terms of, are you promising a result with it that the course is going to deliver? That's the most important question. Whether that's done in 30 lessons or more. I think Hendrix is wanting to go outside. He's got to go potty. So I got to get him out. Let's see. Chocolate Twisty. Will you do the live streams weekly? That's a great question. I would love to get on here weekly. We'll have to see like what, if that would be helpful and there's things that we could talk about, I could consider doing that, or maybe more often. This is actually my first time being live on this channel. So I had no idea what to expect. And I just decided go big or go home. So we did 3 hours, which is probably not advised, but we made it. We made it through, everybody. 3 hours. Thank you. This is Zelda says beautiful dog. This is Hendrix. Come here, buddy. Come here. Here. Let's everybody see your face. There we go, buddy. Here you go. There's Hendrix. He's a cute little dog. He's a golden retriever. Hey, buddy. Look at that. Let's see. Handcrafted Income. Thanks so much. Love your videos. You have helped so much. Thank you. Love it. Really appreciate the feedback. It means a lot to me. It really does. I think people say that. It really does. When you guys know, when you make content and people respond to it and get helped by it, that is the most satisfying thing ever, because it just shows that like, wow, I made a difference in someone's life. Is there a Kajabi list where you can find your competition, someone with your exact niche? I don't know about a list. I would look at, I would Google that and see, you can do some digging and kind of find that out. Let's say, thanks, Lane. Your coaching calls are awesome. Love it. Appreciate that. Really, really cool. Yeah. Let's see. Moto Crib. Hello, bro. Good to see you, bro. Welcome to the call. Well, that is it. We are donezo. Again, thank you so much for jumping on. I want to mention one more time, you can get 60 days on Kajabi for free right now, which is pretty awesome. Using my link, lanesebring.com/Kajabi. You get all the free stuff, all the cool stuff, and 60 full days to try it out. Go try it out. Be sure to let me know if you implement what we talked about in this call. I would love to hear how it goes for you. Until next time, thank you. Really appreciate you being on here today. I wish you all the best. And as always, I am cheering you on, here for you. Email me if you need anything. Keep it real. Bye.